Good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome back to this week's GKP Live. Hope everybody's good and had a good week up to press. Usual thing. I'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody.
Evening.
How are you doing, Dad? That was, as you said, there, just as you literally came on, you jumped in the bath and slid out the other end and run straight down and sat
straight
down
into my trousers. It was like Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit job. How's it been going on, mate? What's the temps like in the polytunnel? Have you been getting some heat in there?
Hot. Yeah, creeping up into 21, 22. In fact, that's why I'm late tonight. I've had to set up a bit of a trickle in, trickle out on one of the big mail tanks because the water was getting a bit mucky looking. I thought, try and keep it fresh. I didn't want to put fresh cold water in because it's going to drop the temperature, but I just felt that if I didn't do something, it should probably bite me.
Well, we've got to. Well, the idea is, guys, it is spawning season, and this weekend, if you don't mind me saying, we are going to be, hopefully, fingers crossed, doing some spawning down at Daz's. Now, I'm not going to be going live, but we're hoping to get everything recorded so that everybody can see how Daz and I and Vicky are going to be taking part in it and how we do it and what we're actually going to get involved with. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to be getting the fish. Oh, that's the thing, Daz. Have you got any sedate or koi carp?
I do, yes. Got a new bottle.
I'm going to remind you earlier today, and I completely forgotten it. I was sat there thinking, oh, crap, I'm going to be doing it. But yeah, the idea is we're going to be hopefully getting them geared up for a natural And then when they go in and start to go, then going to go straight in with taking them out, stripping them. And then this way, this time does, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can identify which male's doing which spawns and everything else. So
yeah, they're absolutely mad for it at the minute, Gaz. They're just it's like a pack of sharks.
They all geared up then.
Yeah.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, the females are as well, mate. That's what we want.
Yeah.
If it all works and goes to plan, we should be starting at stupid o'clock Saturday morning and hopefully going throughout the full day to get some 40 odd spawns set and ready to go.
We don't want no koi with headaches and washing their hair and none of that nonsense.
None of that nonsense. Straight in. Like that. You're having it.
All your hands first.
But yeah, that's the plan for the weekend, guys. So hopefully there should be some good content to come early next week. Hopefully, might be Sunday, might be Monday, depending on how much we actually get to put together. And then we have got a mad dash to get ourselves set up and ready for the Growing with a Difference. Three of us are actually having a go at it now, so we will have free vats. So we've got free vats to get set up, and then get those filled up, and then get some live cultures going in them. Once we've got live cultures going in there, we also need to make a filtration system for it, which is going to be fry friendly. And then hopefully that's it. We just take the trophy and smash it first, second, and third. Well, it's going to be brilliant now. Proper looking forward to that. To see some fry through. Officially my own. And I've taken a few and put them in tank and grown them on a little bit and then took them back to my dad's. But I've gone through a lot of dazzers and done a lot of dazzers, but we've never actually, I mean, there's been times where me and Daz have said, no, I'm not culling that one. Daz, that needs to go. Get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. And then there's been ones where Daz has said no, and I've said, let's get rid. And then we've both been kind of like corrected at later stages. Somewhere I said, no, let's keep it, see how it does. And that's made a good one. And the ones that I've said to go have turned into good ones. So it's going to be interesting this time, Daz, where we're going through it, doing it on a zone where we're going to have great big cardboard divides between each other. So nobody's looking at what no competition at all. It's just for fun.
You can tell that Gaz is getting competitive already.
Yeah, no point having a go if you're not going to have a go. If you're going
to, is your tank going to have a camera on it constantly then, Gaz, to make sure no tampering's involved?
I might be employing my secret weapon, Daz.
What's that? My mum.
Is somebody ANC saying there? Is it just me or feedback? Are you getting feedback, guys, or is it sounding all right? I can't hear anything. Shouldn't be. Not done anything or changed anything, so there shouldn't be. But yeah, that's what we've got coming up for the very near future. But on top of that, we've got to get a polytunnel over it as well, Daz, haven't we?
Yeah.
Or we're putting something together with unwrapping bin liners and covering it in them. Gaz has got a laser system ready to go. Yeah, anybody that comes anywhere near it. Sounds okay to me. Nice one, Aaron. Thank you very much. So that's the plan. That's what we're hoping to get on with, and that's what we're hoping to do. We will be having Rick joining us at the moment. He's just having a family dinner. His friend Matt, which is, let me just make sure I get this. It's Matthew Howe will be joining us as well. I don't know. We should be getting Crafty coming on if he's finished and when he's on his way back home from work or got home from work. Don't know if anybody else will be joining us this evening, but there has been links sent out. Other than that, what we got a little echo coming back. I think it might be from Daz's phone. Oh,
it's this new tripod that Vicky gave me. That's what's done it.
Is that it? Is it a little bit?
Yeah.
I can't hear anything. To be fair, it sounds all right to me. Yeah. Dinner. Yeah, he's having dinner. Rick is eating and dining with the family.
Ooh, some fine.
It will be on shortly. Right, we have got a couple of. What do you? Oh, there you go. Paul Hutchinson. What do you do with a cull fish? I used to be a farmer, so I understand the term, but had an incinerator. I mean, your first culls are sort of like this size. So you can do the humane thing and put them out of the misery, or you can. We've done it in past where a lot of the times we've gifted them to people just to take, just to see. They might not be good enough for us, but a lot of people have taken fish from Daz in past before and given them a new home and given them a chance to see what they become. And I dare bet there's actually, I can hear a little bit of a repeat there. There has been a few people that have just taken them to see what they do and grow them on. But 9 times out of 10, they're cold, composted, and back to nature.
Heavy dose of sedate in a bucket, and it's ethical then.
Yeah. Plant them under a nice rose bush. Right then. Let's just double check that. If I just mute you 1 sec, Daz. There we go. Can I even do that? And then see if that stops it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Just getting a little bit of feedback, Daz, getting a bit of echo. You haven't got it playing in background, have you?
No.
Is it just on your mobile?
Yeah, just on my mobile, yeah.
Ooh, sorry, Rick. There you go. And Rick,
Rick.
But yeah, that's normally what we do with them. I would imagine Rick, if the small stuff and what Rick does, and I've heard him say before in the past, he feeds the small ones to the big ones. And the day it's a batch of protein, and they're going to eat it, and that's more growth. So we could do the same thing, because Daz has got plenty of fish that are going to need some protein back in the diet again once they've done all this spawning. So we could be doing the same, or like
right. What we need, Gaz, is a pike or catfish pond to feed them to.
That's it. Yeah. So one of the 4 mud ponds could be a catfish pond.
Yes.
We'll just wang them all in there.
Why not? Waste not, want not.
Yeah.
I think that's what the majority of major koi farms would do. They'll either cull them and feed them on, or if they don't cull them and feed them on, they would probably dry them out, bake them and grind them up and turn them back into pellet again, turn them back into feed.
Yeah, a lot of them just go into ploughed into the fields.
Yeah.
Literally just
natural fertilizer.
Yeah, just euthanized and then ploughed into your crops. Blood and bone meal.
Yeah. Yeah. Proper natural
source. Fish and bone.
Yeah. Well, blood, fish, and bone meal. Yeah, exactly the same. There you go.
Yeah, I can hear it too, and see. Daz, just try turning down your volume a little bit, because your volume is coming back through and picking up with your speaker. There we go. Didn't hear it then when I did a big testing. There you go.
I can't hear anything, but
well, you can't. Well, just tweak it up one at a time until eventually, if it starts doing it again, we'll just add them to the compost heap. I think that's when we had quite a big batch. Does you'd got some plants, hadn't you, and you just banged them underneath a couple of the fruit plants, and you banged a plant back.
Yeah, just took a small hole and buried them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a crazy thing, isn't it? You go to all that effort to get your parents, produce the fish, look after the eggs, look after the fry, and then 10 weeks later, you're like, 90% of them are
90% of them are gone. Yeah. That's the scale and what they're doing for yourself, and the scale like what you do over in Japan and all these other countries where they're breeding thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Like you said, they've got to go somewhere. That's a lot of. I know some places do turn them back into feed, don't they? Again, as well.
Yeah,
it's something that was perhaps more done on your own farm. Your own fish is not such a problem to some degree, but it's not the processing of it and whatever. The equipment's so expensive to do it properly. Is. So we can feed. If we cull some 3 or 4 day old fish to do the black culling on some showers, then we can feed those yellow fry back to some 10-day old fish or whatever. They'll just eat them like brine shrimp or whatever. But you've got to have the two lots of fish at the right age at the right time.
Do
that.
If you want to go downstairs,
So
let's do it now.
Apparently, yeah. Ezra wants to come and say hello, but
No, Ezra.
it's bedtime.
Hello for when you watch back, Ezra.
I'm sure he'll be down. He's pretty good at swerving it.
Hey, up, Matt.
Matt's
You all right,
as
bud?
well.
How you doing, guys?
Good evening, Matt.
Well, mate, thank
He's
you.
got a deer on his shoulder. What's going on,
Wow.
mate?
Oh, he's up there.
Got no idea what that is. Hey.
Hey, good one.
Oh,
That was cheesy, wasn't it? There we go. We've got a couple of questions coming in. We have got a couple of topics to talk about, and we have got some nice Yankees to be looking at. Anybody who wants to share them, if you could do us a favour, if you join the Gazza's Koi Pond or post them in the Gazza's Koi Pond on Facebook, there is a little section at the top which has said, "Good evening, ladies and gents. Don't forget to tune in, obviously, this week and post your videos and footage of videos and photos." In that little bit there, you'll see it there, along with everybody else's. If anybody wants to add them in, feel free to do so now if you wish. It's not a problem, but don't be emailing me or sending me any other way because it's just too much hassle whilst I'm live to bring them up. But if anybody wants to put them in there, feel free. You don't have to stay, maybe you can leave up there for after. If I see anybody's come up that's joined just to post one, feel free to do so. We've got a quick question there. I think I just saw it as I scrolled up. What's the selection process? What does and Rick are looking for? Well, I suppose that depends what you're actually spawning. If you
well, this is the thing. I mean, we won't know for definite what we're spawning until we spawn them.
this for us this time it's going to be different, isn't it? Because we're going to be doing lots of different types.
Yeah.
So we're not going to know really the majority of what we're looking for, other than the Gosankis. We know what we're looking for in them.
I mean, this year it's really going to be more research, because we'll be doing spawns to see if they're going to come out any good.
Yeah.
Then if they do, then next year we will concentrate on those spawns and not do the rubbish ones.
It's a trial and error for us, isn't it?
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
It's to see which ones produces, because other times when Daz has done them in past, first time that the big one that was a flock spawn when it does, and we had lots of decent stuff produced, but with no idea what did the business. So and then last year we did some crosses with some of the spawns that you wanted to do, which were the Sankis, which we knew which were what. Yeah. And then he also crossed in some Miracarp, and to be quite fair, lots of stuff in there looked like it might have had Miracarp mixed in with it that we have no idea whether or not it is or isn't. So we kept a lot of them just to see what they did and see. I mean, the vast majority of them were all just carp looking.
Yeah.
Just straight Miracarp, leather carp, common carp, and they were easy to identify. But there was there was a good few that we had a few mixed up that we thought, like, is this a chag? Is this a chag? No. And then later on, we found out it was just another common carp.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
A lot of Aragoki as well.
Yeah, we got a heck of a lot of Aragoki, didn't we?
Yeah.
But I'm guessing when it comes to Rick's side of thing, Rick would know exactly what he's looking for with each spawn that he would set.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you? Yeah. I mean, if it's the first cull on any black base stuff's done early doors, a few days old, so you're only keeping the black base ones. Metallic ones you're normally culling at about 10 weeks. That got the metallic last year. Anything with Benny patterns again at sort of 12 weeks, you can start to see. So Kahaki, Sankisha, you start to see the Benny patterns, and all the time you're looking for skin quality and body shape.
Yeah. That's pretty much what you're going through for your first culls, aren't you? Your first couple of culls is to make sure that they've got good bodies and you've not got no deformities, isn't it, really? Until you start looking at any that's got a decent pattern or something that's dropped off of a fish as it's got that little bit bigger. It's a process of elimination via patterns once you've picked out good body forms. But we found last time when we were doing it, we were picking a lot of them that were looking pretty damn good. And then the next thing you know, they'd got twisted bodies and stuff, and they weren't developed until slightly later, were they? It was a little bit more difficult for us to tell, but this is early days for us. We're both quite new to it, and hopefully when we get to go down to see Rick at New Forest Koi again and do a bit more grading with him, we'll learn a little bit more about different selection of different fish again.
Same with mouth alignment. There's a few with wonky mouths, and you were saying only the other night, Gaz, about flipping them over then it's a lot easier to see if the mouth is straight or not by looking
Yeah.
at from the underneath.
Like you hear at Suris, apparently the here at Suris are really common to have like a little bit of a twist to the head. And we were talking with Alan Tate on Sunday last weekend at the NND growing event. And we actually asked Alan if we could, if we'd go through a few here at Suris for Vicky from Bubble and Fins, because she'd pick some. So we thought, who better person to ask to pick you some fish than to sit there and go through them. And every one of them, he turned them over. And I said, why are you turning them over? And he said, well, here at Suris are really quite common to have a little bit of a twist. So you turn them over so you can have a look from the underside, because it's more visible from the underside of the gills, which was sweet. So a little bit of a inside information so we know what we're looking at.
Ricky, on the genetics of the fish, when do you reckon, after how many breedings have you stabilised it to maintain that particular variety? So, as you know, I got the 2 golden corns coming from the leader of the golden monkeys, and they're in the same environment they have been for the last year. One of them now is a full-on chocolate shag, and the other one is, as it was, a golden monkey. So how many years would you have to have the breeding together to get it stable?
Depends on the variety and where you're starting from, doesn't it? But the Dainichi yellow monkeys are just Krashigoi from the Kanishi line. So they're already pretty stable in themselves. Obviously, to add the Gimrin, they might have put a Gimrin Chag, whatever they put in. That's where you get a bit of a throwback in colour variation amongst them. But the more simple stuff's easy. The Krashigoi and whatever if you're picking 2 very light coloured parents, and you know that their grandparents were light coloured, then you're pretty much stable and they'll be light coloured. But as soon as you cross someone else in to create the Ginrin or patterns and whatever, then it all goes back out the window and you get all sorts back out. You need to know, realistically, obviously the parents can show you one thing, but the genotype and the phenotype can be different. So what they're showing and what they come from are 2 different things. But obviously, if you can go back to the grandparents, then you pretty much know you're on a straight line. If you've got 4 Kahaku grandparents and you're breeding for 2 Kahakus from them, then you're just going to get Kahaku. But if you've got a Showa or a Sankey or something as one of the grandparents, then you're going to get Sumi coming out. Yeah. So it's just knowledge of the whole lineage, not so much of a bloodline, but obviously what a breeder's used. And a lot of breeders do, momentarily, all of his stuff's based off the original sort of Mako Sankey. So he's got, even his Kahakus have got Sankey blood, and his Showas have got Sankey blood, and he crosses back and forth. So, but that's how you get a bit more strength in the genetics and the growth and all the other positive sides.
So it's quite interesting, though, isn't it, to see, like you're saying there, with the different types in the genetics, what the throwbacks can actually produce. And then there was some random stuff coming out of them as well, can't you?
But how do you get to know what the parents or grandparents were?
Hopefully you can, for ourselves, we own the parents and sometimes the grandparents, or we know what lines they've come from.
So it's a long-term thing then.
But first time you cross the set, you can quite often see if there's someone else involved straight away. Suddenly there's things appearing that shouldn't be there. But that's how you create different variants.
Is it right then, Rick? It's like 9 to 10 years to establish a true bloodline.
Yeah, because it's going to take, realistically, it's 3 years to do a generation. So if you're breeding close, then your first spawning, it's going to take you 3 years to get some of them up to use as parents, and then another 3 years to get some of their offspring up to parents, and then you're sort of getting into realms where you're pretty stable. But you're also getting very thick blood by then if you're staying in.
Yeah, if you're not bringing something else in, which again, then you'd need to know which you could be introducing it back to.
Yeah, you've got to outcross it.
Where you started again, couldn't you? Unless you know the true.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the beauty of genetics, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
you can see. Well, one of our Asagi parents, I know that one of its parents has got Shishui. It's a Shishui, so that fish will produce Deutz fish given the right crossings. But it's an Asagi, and if you cross it with an Asagi, you get Asagi. But I can also do it, so you get choices. You get, with that knowledge, you can get a different body shape, you can get different outcomes. Be it that positive or not. It's positive for sales points of view. It might not be positive producing the best Asagi for shows, but yeah, it depends. You've got to look what your outcome is, isn't it? What you want to achieve. Like the yellow monkeys are literally, as far as I'm aware, that's one generation of fish from a couple of serious parents, but it's not a stable line that they've only literally done it for the one go. So you've got some amazing ones and some that have done random things.
Yeah.
It's always a good one because you always hear people talking, why is my fish done that? And people always say about genetics, poor genetics, poor genetics. And in my eyes, you can't get any better genetics. But you're always going to get feedback from however many generations coming backwards.
Yeah.
Like you said about the lineage, I can imagine what my weekend is going to be now. People aren't going to be asking what the breeder is. They're going to be asking for the lineage as well, which will be quite interesting.
But yeah, that's the point, though. Isn't it? So you can have, someone like Donichi producing his Black Zeus or, Yellow Monkey. He's picking parents to produce an outcome that are going to have monster bodies and grow big. The genetics, it's not a bloodline, it's genetics of big fish that are going to do, some of them will do amazing things. Some of them are going to be less amazing. But that's why the good ones cost so much money. Very nice. Night, mate.
Good night, buddies. Thanks for joining us, little man. See you on the next one.
He's off ski.
Have you heard of, I don't know if it's I think it's a relatively new one, the Black Magic.
Black Magic. No.
It's Matsukawabake cross Kahaku. And it makes like a Kahaku pattern on the underside. Looks very much like a Matsukawabake. But there's some of them when they're bred still have that underlying red to the suma, so it looks more like a cherry, deep red cherry underneath. Have you seen anything? Or do you know?
I haven't seen any, but there's forever. They've gone for, most breeders have spent years stabilizing things, and then the last few years it's been a bit of a craze to, as we do. We've always done it, just to have different stuff. But it's certainly become more popular out there. I mean, yeah.
That's one.
Yeah, I wouldn't know any difference in that from the Matsukawabake.
Exactly. But when you look at some of the others, they have more of a red hue to the underside of it as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's something we've got planned, a Goromo across a Matsukawabake, just to try and create this sort of Sumi Goromo or whatever.
What, go with a bud of Goromo underneath? That would be sweet, underneath a Matsukawabake.
Yeah, just to try and create a darker, like I say, purpley sort of colour. But
yeah, that's convenient. That I just had a bud of Goromo underneath as well to show you as well. Almost like a plan, that.
Well, it's just at the end of the day, we're not going to produce the absolute top end fish, so we've got to produce a weird and wonderful array of Kawari Goi and other bits and pieces that are just different. That people come and go, oh, I've never seen it like that before. That's kind of when the shop, we've only got one supplier for our shop, and that's us. Well, I've got to make them do some different stuff, and some of them work and some of them don't. And that's
what keeps it interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I do. I think it's more interesting when you're getting new bloods, new lines, new types, new patterns, new stuff. It's a little bit something different from. I mean, don't get me wrong, Gosanki are stunning. They are beautiful fish. But every pond's got Gosanki, aren't they? I do. To me, the appeal of making and of bringing out different types, or going back to some of the original stuff that they tried 10, 20 years ago that were a bit of a flop, and bringing them out again, like the Aragoki, for example. I do think it's really nice to see some slightly different looking fish and having some little crackers patterns underneath them, and you think, well, that's a little bit of something different. Which is, I know it's not for the masses, but for the people that like a quirky fish and something a little different, I do think it's nice to see that odd little, little gem. For example, like what you've done, I always forget the name. Autumn leaf.
Oh, Achiba.
The Achiba with the Ginrin zip. Deutz Ginrin Achibas. Man, there's something else then. I mean, I've seen some nice Deutz Achibas, but they look banging with the Ginring zip.
They do. The Ginrin really makes it.
Now, to me, I'd have a pond. Again, I know I've said it. I wouldn't really want a pond of species fish, a particular type. But man, a pond full of them would be popping, wouldn't they? They'd look wicked then.
Yeah, but that's again just creating different. We'll have one customer that likes Deutz fish, another customer can't stand Deutz fish, another customer can't stand Ginrin. So they ain't for everyone, are they? But it's the refinement. No. The refinement of the good Gosanki and Shira, they're just next level. So it's almost two different worlds of koi almost. Top end Gosanki versus everything else.
Yeah.
And that's,
why is it that when you've got a Deutz fish, why do they? I mean, I know we've heard people say, no, this is going to grow into an 80 cm, 90 cm Deutz, but most Deutz fish most Deutz fish never do really seem to grow that big, do they?
No, it's not in the genetics. They just don't. And because of the way the body frames on them and whatever, they carry so much volume. If you got them to 90 centimeters, they'd be about 100 pound in weight. They're just So they are getting better and they are getting bigger. And the more you cross them back to big Wagoi one, you can, they are slightly. They just don't exist. I mean, Deutsch shower, nice Deutsch shower, 60 centimeter, amazing. Beyond that.
When you mention Wagoi, Ricky, what actually is a Wagoi? Because a lot of people will not know.
Just the normal scaled, basic common, your common carp, fully, normal fully scaled, but not. You get fully scaled Deutz, which is slightly different because the scales obviously irregular. They're still regular, but they're bigger and Your normal common carp, as most people would know it, is Wagoi.
Don't they refer Wagoi as the first fish that the Chinese sent over to Japan?
Well, the first carp that went across would all be originally. That is just what they were. Normal common carp. Mirror carp were only created in Germany in whenever it was, 1930 or whatever for food purposes. You get some that had the scale variation. They bred those, created scaleless ones for eating. That's where the Deutz ones come from. It's a lot easier to eat a fish without scales.
Yeah.
Obviously, when they created them, those fish were either bred in that way to choose the fattest, more fish for your money or whatever.
I thought that was going back to like medieval times when they had the old fish stew ponds at the monasteries and such. Yeah,
they were all normal scales. So all of the original carp were all commons. There was no mirrors nowadays. So and obviously your original carp have got a long, elegant shape to them, and mirror carp have got. Depending on which you sit on.
Like the old wildies then.
Yeah. They're like water pigs. That's kind of how you term them, aren't they? They're just, and it will soon happen. You will get, there's a Deutz Krashigoi that are massive, and obviously they'll get crossed into stuff, and you'll start getting Deutz varieties that can get big, but it takes a breeder to invest a lot of money to do it.
Yeah.
So, it's one of these things don't come about by accident. It takes a number of years and a lot of dedication, a lot of money to produce a variety to get big and look good. So that's why a lot of breeders go down roads of just one or two. That's what that farm does. They're known for Asagi and, whatever. They're good at it. People like us that are just trying to do jack of all trades, we're just trying to cover all bases. So we're never going to produce the best of anything. The best we can do is produce nice stuff of everything.
Yeah.
Question for Matt. I've been coming to you for a few years now, but my recent visit, I noticed the koi are looking so much nicer. What changed recently to make them look so good?
Thanks, Kelly. I knew that you were going to mention this one.
He's been buying them all from New First Koi. Sorry, mate.
Basically changed my source.
Leave it there. You don't need to go any further. That's it, done.
And
A new supplier.
A new supplier, yeah. So basically, all my fish are coming through Ryan now. They're all hand selected. The communication level that I get from Ryan when he's over there is just phenomenal. I hope he's not watching because he'll probably be cringing. But I'm getting what I want. As a dealer, I want to get the fish that I'm going to be able to sell. I don't want a selection of 20% of good fish and the remainder not. I just, we're limited to space. And I want to make sure that the fish that we got there are, one, competitive, of a high quality, and ones that the customers are looking for. And what I order, I get. And yeah, Ryan has just done me proud in a way. It has been really good. Ricky's been over and seen them, and they are cracking fish. Every single fish that's come in had 250 tosai that are just clearing quarantine now. And when I look in the tank, apart from particular varieties, say if you're going on kahakus, yes, you may not want a kahaku or you've got too many in your pond. But apart from that, every single fish in that tank is just remarkable. Sellable fish, healthy, clean, and more than anything got potential. So yeah, change the dealer, and it's worked.
That's what you want, mate. That's what you want. Can't
That's
ask for better than that. If your customers are saying that they've noticed a change and they're all for the better, that's can't be more than a good thing, mate, can it?
No, and I went out today over to Wimborne, just up the road from us, to do a health check. And that was one of the comments the guy made. He's not on Facebook, so he's only seen it through our website. And he said, boy, you've gone up another scale this year. And we have. And it's paid dividends.
Looks like we're going to have a road trip, down Dorset.
So when you're finished loading at mine, you can come on. When you've done your 2 days' work, you can go.
Whereabouts are you, Matt?
Just outside Dorchester. So we've got West Bay Harbour just down the road from us for the fish and chips. So we get a lot of people. So we get a load of people come down, drop the kids off, and the family down on the beach, and then shoot on over to us.
I'm liking it already.
Sounds better, doesn't it? Brilliant.
And we got a whole load of, it's like a bloody zoo here at the moment. We got a whole load of new lambs just been born in the back garden, and turkeys, chickens. So the kids can get entertained by playing with them, and the adults, or normally the
day out and a meal.
Right.
Day out and a meal.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll have to come down and have a see you, Matt. Come on then, quick, while we got a couple of questions in. Favourite variety, Matt? What's your favourite type of koi?
Kahaku. Easy. For me, it is. If it wasn't for the fact that I need to keep a mix in our main pond, the main pond's just shy of 80,000 litres in there. So it has got a mix of fish in there. If I could put anything in there, it would be one good quality chag, and everything else would be kahakus.
There you go. I'll see.
But I can't.
But you get, well, I mean, yeah.
You can't get them back out.
That's the problem, Ricky.
Is that the main display pond then? Or is that your main personal?
I'll send over a video later so you can see what we got there. But we got 2 big sheds either side of the main pond, which is 6 meters by 6 meters by 8 feet deep. The 8 feet didn't mean to be 8 feet. We basically, when we dug it all out, we got down to the chalk, got to the level that I wanted, which was going to be 6 feet, plus taking off half a feet for the concrete. One little corner was just slightly high, scraped it away and went straight from chalk to soil. So we had to keep digging down to find the chalk again, and we stopped at another 2.5 feet down.
Extra depth, more fish.
Yeah, but when you have to treat the
2
pond,
sheds either side of it, so you can't get near it.
yeah, and when you have to treat the pond, it's costing you £150 a time for the fluke treatment.
Yeah, but I mean, there is a way around it, mate. Because I mean, at the end of the day, when you trek with your fluke treatment, you always have to water change out. So if you have the water volume, then treat, and you've only got to water change out less. But
it's true, but then it's difficult on a gravity system because you're shutting it all down then.
Okay.
And it took 2.5 weeks to fill it up, so I've still got a week to fill it back up.
Bugger again. That sounds like Daz. Daz said 2 of a day, and he had a little bit of an error, Daz, didn't you? He had a pipe that separated himself.
I thought 9 hours was a long time to film. Bloody hell!
9 hours to fill back up. 9 hours.
Yeah, we're lucky. We're on a borehole, so all of our water comes straight out the ground. So it's pretty stable.
The whole village goes dry, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Nobody gets any water for a week and a half.
When we were filling it up, we had to stop every evening about 3:30, 4 o'clock, just so that everybody could come in from work and make sure.
Really? You were joking?
No, it was that scary. The last thing I wanted to do when we moved here was
for a glass of water.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been too good.
Wow. There we go. Simon Shears says starts and ends with Kaku. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, they are a nice fish. They are a nice, but I do think there's lots of better other varieties myself, personally. Can't beat a lemon and Harawaki, can you, Dino?
Yeah, or Kikasui.
Yeah, Kikasui.
One that I do like is the Super Red. The Super Red Krashigoi.
Yeah, that's nice. I like the Super Mangoes as well. The Super Mangoes are mint. They're such a beautiful fish, then. Stunning.
But isn't it just a Krashigoi?
Yeah.
Benigoi, sorry.
Same. Well,
Imagine crossing a Benigoi and a Krashigoi. You get
Super Mango.
Yeah.
Pretty much, mate.
We're going to be trying it out this season, but they both turned out to be female. So that scuppered that.
You get called different names over. They're just Red Tiger, Super Mango. They're just variations of a theme, aren't they?
Yeah. Marik's saying the Gosanka will always be the mainstay of the Japanese breed.
Yeah.
It
will because of the absolute refinement of them, the sheer quality that they can possess and develop into is just someone else. Absolutely someone else. And there isn't another, apart from Shearet series, it's close, but it's not really that close.
It's funny because in the dog world, we'd be calling them all mongrels.
Yeah.
Right. If you like them. I want a super mongrel that grows to 9 foot long. And it's the same thing, then. It's what you want, isn't it? What do you want your dog for? What do you want it to look like?
Yeah.
We go down paths as people. We always do it, don't we? As breeders of anything, we go down a path to achieve something and end up losing someone else in the process.
Yeah.
That must be the kicking balls, though, for you as a breeders when you're breeding like that. When you think, right, we produce the perfect pattern, but they're not putting the size on them and not getting the growth from them. They're becoming short bodies or whatever. Something that you add another element. And it all goes to tits up.
Yeah, but the trouble is, if you always think, oh, what if it's amazing? But if it worked and it worked easy, then they'd be worthless.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So you've that element of the difficulty is what makes it so intriguing and so why people do it for generations.
Yeah.
generations, and there's always room for improvement. You know, it's so
It's
difficult.
the challenge of it all, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It is. It's searching for
every
that
little bit you get
perfect
that goes
variety.
right is a bonus, isn't it?
What's your favourite cross to do?
Don't know yet. Haven't found it.
All right. Don't know yet. Not found it. Was it a
Every year.
relatively simple one to do to get the Deutsch Ginrin Achiever? Is that a relatively simple cross?
No, well, because it's 4 different grandparents. So no.
That's
But
taken some
obviously-
time. Is that the final stage of what you've been working on then for several generations with those fish? Or just something you just thought you'd throw in that
well,
mix to see what it did this time?
They're 2 different lines that have come together. Not that kind of is a bonus from it, but it wasn't the goal for either of the parent lines I've produced. But obviously, when they've come together, they produce something nice. But there wasn't the goal originally, and that's kind of the beauty of it. And obviously, if I lose one of those parents, I'm probably won't be able to replicate those fish like that for another 10 years.
So with what you've got now, technically, you couldn't go from a male and a female from that spawning and put them together, could you? Because they're brother and sister. You're going to have to go back, try a different parent set with the same combination to get a different gene to put siblings.
You could go, bro. To be fair, with those, you probably could go brother and sister because there's 4 different lines in the grandparents. So although they're brother sister, they're actually not that inbred.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That makes sense because there's such a wide gene
yeah,
pool.
because you've got different
more like cousins.
backgrounds. Yeah,
But I think the outcome would be all those 4 different grandparents.
right. So even
You end up with technically
so
there'd be Shui blood in them.
the originals.
Yeah, so you get so much variant. So you might get some that are true to form, but you'd also get all the throwbacks, which might not be a bad thing. Again, it might be a bad thing, but yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what it does. I suppose you'll find out in 3 years' time if you try it.
Yeah, there's different things are stable. Obviously, if the percentages they've only come from, I only did a small amount of them because it was a trial spawning. But obviously now that they're good, I know which 2 parents did it, so I can do a lot more of them.
Yeah. Well, what about the Ginrin? Well, they were Karashigo, weren't they? The Ginrin Karashis? They were nice as well.
Yes,
Metallic ones.
The metallic
That was
Ginrin
it.
Karashis, yeah.
Again,
They were.
there's 4 different grandparents involved in that. So again,
Is that close to the yellow monkey?
not really, because the yellow monkey. The
But
yellow
the
monkey.
design
The
type.
thing about it is the
The
sheer
yellow monkeys aren't
size and
metallic, are
volume.
they?
No, not metallic. They're just Ginrin Krashigoi, but their selling point is that they are all Krashigoi generally will grow big, but these things have got better bone structure.
Yeah.
They grow bigger and better, so that's their unique kind of selling point. Whereas the ones we've just done, probably the exact opposite, because there's so much variation in the grandparents, and they're not massive lines that those fish might top out at 60, 65 centimeters. They'll look pretty as a picture, but they're not going to grow like those yellow monkeys will or whatever. There's just
They're like
different
eating machines, them things, aren't they? They're nuts, man. The speed and the development that they put on is. But again, you need the right environments to do it and do everything with, don't you? You don't just work. You don't get that without eating without the right quality foods as well as.
So the thing is, they're capable of growing massive, but like Matt's got a couple of them. One's good, one's not good. And if you don't put them in the right environment, they won't grow big. They can only grow big if you give them the chance. If you put one of my metallic ones against them, mine will grow slower, but they'll probably actually end up similar size in a normal pond. But if you put them in a growing environment for 3 years, mine will look like a tadpole compared to one of them. It's just not. But most people haven't got a heated, heavy feeding regime where they're going to put those fish and get the maximum out of them. Yeah. So there's no point paying £2,000 for a little yellow monkey that you're going to put in an unheated 1,000-gallon pond that's overstocked and you're going to feed once every day with. It's just not.
Yeah.
No point.
It's wasting its
It's
potential, isn't it?
top it out.
It's how the Japanese do it, isn't it? I mean, they managed to get monster koi by literally putting them in mud pond lakes that are thousands and thousands of litres, and then only stocking with minimal numbers.
Yeah.
Loads and loads of space, plenty of food, plenty of live food, supplemented food as well, and then on top of that, all that space to grow with enough competition, but not over competing for the actual food.
Actually, Ricky, what temperatures would the Japanese ponds come up to during their summer months?
Quite hot. They have a really hot period in the summer up in the mountains. So probably around 25 degrees. Not those great big, not some of the monster ones. Right? The thing with a mud pond is you get thermoclines. You'll have the fish can go and put themselves in a shallow hot area at 28 degrees, or go down into deep water where it's a lot cooler. So they can adjust their body temperatures as they find comfortable. So it's not like a normal sort of pond where you've got a temperature. They can choose layers and different temperatures that they find suitable. Turn it down, Crafty. We couldn't hear the M25, mate.
But fucking tell you what, mate, I had stopped all day. I've only chopped on right quick. I'll be home in about 50 minutes and I'll jump back on. There's a couple of things I just want to share with you when I get there. So stay tuned, I'll be back shortly.
Nice one, bud. See you in a soon. Drive safe, keep your eye on the road.
Go for the drive-through, McDonald's.
Yeah, that's probably what he wants to share with us. Look what I got from KFC.
But yeah, a mud pond. We have mud ponds at work where the fish can be sat at 30 degrees in a shallow area in the sun, and they'll use that heat. But obviously, if they've had enough, they can go down to the bottom. You might have 18 degrees down in the deeper areas, and they will go through the thermoclines as they choose to be where they want to be. Which is why in a big lake like that can't move about in the water column, in a body of water.
Quick question come in there, and I will pop back up for one that I was just flicking down and through. But says, good evening, guys. I've just purchased an EA Tempest and an EA UV and an EA 10,000 litre pump. Where is the best place to situate the UV before or after the Tempest? UV before or after filtration?
Before, if it's pressurised, and that's where your pressurised water is.
Or after on your return.
In the pump and the Tempest. Basically, UV will kills the algae and makes it clump. So if you want to take that algae out, you want to put it, if you're using a Tempest as a pre-filter or a mechanical filter, then you want the UV before the Tempest.
There you go. There was another question in which was about, and I think you'll find you're wrong with that one, Simon, but you can educate yourself and Google it. Well, there was a question about a liner. There we go. No, that's not it.
Liner.
Could anybody recommend a liner type for a sleeper pond? Are EPDM rubber ones worth spending the extra on instead of the plastic ones? I would say 100%. Definitely worth.
Ask Matt. He does liners.
We sell loads of box liners. I was saying to Ricky when we went out last Sunday together. The box liners this week, we've already sold over 40 box liners. The butyl one, EPDM is good product, no question at all. But the butyl is cheaper now to manufacture than what it was previously, and with the time it takes to manufacture a box liner, that the overhead labour-wise, you can get a butyl box liner now for the same price as an EPDM.
All right.
So, and definitely on the PVC, why skimp on the liner, which is your main part of your pond, when you put all that time and effort into your pond, your butyl liner is, or your liner is the most important, or second part, apart from building it, the main part of your pond. So don't skimp on it, putting a PVC, what anybody says. And when you see them on different websites and you see lifetime warranty, 25-year, but they're not butyl and they're definitely not EPDM, then question how the hell they're going to give you a warranty. And it's because it got so many clauses in the return aspect of it that in most cases people, you'll get UV. UV's played a part of it, and in the T's and C's it says the pond must be covered, or you've got to provide your original receipt. And 5 years down the line, who's got the original receipt? Not
Yeah.
So stay away from the cheap stuff. 100%. I've seen it so many times. Don't risk it. Go butyl all the way.
Yeah,
There we go.
This rubber man, we're going to call him.
Because butyl did used to be really expensive back in the day.
It was, yeah, definitely. And was it probably 3 years ago that EPDM was our main one that we sold most of? And then basically the manufacturers and everybody got together and looked at the costings of it, and it's more cost effective for the customer, not so much for the manufacturer, but for the customer to have it in butyl, because it is. I've got a video of them actually making it, and it is literally just a machine that just goes shoo, and it's fixed. That's it, job done. Where the EPDM is a lot longer process to manufacture it, but it is interesting. The one I always have a debate over is the fiberglassing and a box liner. Everybody always says how good fiberglassing is, and I have no doubt it is. But in my line of business, and the most issues I see on the ponds is always fiberglass. Always. I think of now 6 ponds and big ponds that have all got fiberglass issues.
What is that like? Perished or old aged or just cracks or delaminating itself?
Yeah, the delaminating, breaking down, top coats coming off, and I could go careful because I don't know enough about the fiberglassing, but in most cases, is it down to the heat? They want a stable, damp-free environment. I saw somebody yesterday on one of the forums, and he was talking about lining his pond. What was the best option? To paint it to fiberglass or box line. And he said the only issue is at the moment, I've cleaned the pond out last night and took all the excess water, and I've already got 4 inches of water soaking back into the pond through the blocks. Because obviously his water table was higher there. We've all had a lot of rain.
Yeah.
So how the hell is he going to ever dry that out?
Yeah.
That's a long time of sitting and waiting for it to dry out, isn't it? Especially if water table's that high, as you've done that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether you've ever done it. If you hold a concrete block and you get a watering can and pour over the top at full power,
It'll absorb the whole lot.
Well, yeah, it doesn't actually come out the sides at all. It literally
doesn't,
goes
does it?
straight through.
Yeah. And increases the weight a hell of a lot too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it where when they've been using it on site and the blocks even are being laid and they look like they're absolutely saturated. And you could be like 3 weeks into summer before the block work looks like it's actually drying out.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, they sizzle, don't they? When you pour the water on the air.
It soaks it up, doesn't it? Like a giant sponge.
Yeah.
And I don't know. But does anybody know what warranty period you normally get on a fiberglassing job?
I don't know. It's not something I've particularly seen or done a lot of used. Which is the best liner for joining that?
Butyl.
Yeah, because when you see these massive, great big ones where they'll put like a massive, great big overlap, and they'll drag one out and then they'll pull it back and then they'll put another one on and a bonding agent between. So the butyl's the best one for getting
that's butyl that they're doing that on. And what we've done 2 jobs in the past where they're basically lakes and they roll it out from one end, or they lift the roll up on a forklift manatee at one end and then you just pull it out on, as the wheel turns out over to the far side. And then you get your next line, put it up alongside, and then you just run the machine straight down, and the machine is all handheld. And it's just down you go, and it basically heats one side to the other, melts it, and then when it comes back together, it's stuck.
The two are fusing together then, in a sense.
So there's no adhesive used, and it's just the
No
actual rubber melting itself.
It's great.
That's pretty similar to how they do it with the carpets. And if you have a joining like a little alcove where they get that little piece, but that heats to and melts to the two surfaces to bond the two carpets together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sweet.
And I think with the fiberglass, I understand that if you've got a pond that's got curves, etc., then most people would go down the fiberglassing route. But what we've done also is we're doing flag liners, which the guys go on site, and we've got ones that got slopes and curves, and it's all done out of liner. And the reason why this customer went down the liner route was because it was a 9 meter by 5 meter, and he was concerned about subsidence or movement in the pond. If you had fiberglass and you have a crack, which I've got a crack in one of my ponds here, it would have taken out potentially the fiberglass. Where if you've got a butyl liner, it will stretch. It's basically got almost a double stretch. So if you take a 12-inch piece of rubber, you would be able to stretch it out to 24 inches. Not wise to, especially in a pond, but it has got that movement. Fiberglassing won't. It will instantly crack up through that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good sales, mate. I'm tempted.
I know.
There you go. Everyone's going to run out
That's
and
the
buy
end of
it.
fiberglass in there.
I mean, to be fair, my dad bought a butyl liner, and I was 8-9-year-old when he bought it, and it's still in now. And that pond's never leaked ever.
Well, my top pond, that line has been in over 30 years. So, and that's butyl. Cost about 500 quid back then, which just seemed a hell of a lot of money.
Well, yeah, my dad's were expensive what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as I don't know. I mean, there's a few people saying that I've had one for 22 years, fiberglass every time, no problems in 22 years. And then the next mouthful is, have I just tempted fate? Maybe. I hope not, mate. I hope not. Same here, Steve, in 25 years.
So a lot of fiberglass ponds are put in by boat builders, people that do it themselves, and so you can have some that are bulletproof and some that are, shocking.
Yeah, well, I've seen some, Vicky, that have just been fiberglass straight onto mud, onto soil. I mean,
we were saying that other day. In fact, we were watching Josh Coy, and he was asking whether or not you could. And I was saying to you, I was saying in Discord that I'm sure me and Daz have seen a video where somebody's fiberglass straight onto mud.
Yeah, I'm sure we have, Gaz. It does ring a bell.
I know I've seen one 100% definite where it was fiberglassed. It was dug out in the mud, shaped up, but it was clay. It was a clay, dug out into the clay, all shaped up. And then all they did was insulate it all, and then fiberglass straight over the insulation.
Yeah.
No, nothing else in it around.
But fiberglass and those things, isn't it? The different matte coats, the different thicknesses. There's so many aspects to it. Whoever people do it differently, wouldn't they? So
the pond that that big Deutz Sankey brandy came from, that was just fiberglassed onto mud, basically onto soil. It's a huge pond that was dug out, but it was just fiberglassed onto soil.
Well, it's amazing stuff, though, isn't it? You go on a little boat, and you're risking your life on it, aren't you?
Yeah. When you think how easy it is to tear.
What does Matt think about Firestone EPDM liner as a product, premium product? As for fiberglass, it has a habit of delaminating from plastic returns and skimmers. Well, they do delaminate, mate, if you poorly prep them. If it's prepped properly, it's clean. There's always, when any form of product like that, when bonding to another product, it's always in the preparation of the work beforehand. If you've not prepped it right, you've got to remember that. Same with a paint product. If you're spray painting or you're spray painting a car, you've got to imagine that it's like Velcro. One side's a fluffy, soft side. Other sides is little tiny hooks. And as you put the two together, they bond into each other and the elements key in. If you don't prep it back and you don't take the sheen off it and take the sand it back so that it's got something to key to, then you will always get delamination or flaking or peeling and back rolling. It's always down to preparation. Now, there are some surfaces, other products will never key to. But most, if you see, like, for example, on a car,
Like the woven
if you
liner.
see lacquer that's peeling off, it's because it's not being keyed, ready and prepped properly prior to it being sprayed on. So, yeah, if you don't bond it, what's that?
Back to the question.
Back to the question,
Think
yeah.
about Firestone EDPM. or PPDM.
Firestone and Silco are the world's leading manufacturers of EPDM and butyl. So no issues at all with Firestone. The EPDM, you would get your butyl for the same price, and it's better.
There we go.
There's
Claude,
less.
that's a quick one. Any advice on cleaning an Oasis pressure 31,000 filter sponges? Is that the Instamatic one, the one where it rolls across with a little conveyor
No,
and has the
it's a
sponges
pump.
on the other side?
It's a pump one.
The pump
So
type one.
you pump it down, and then you change the valve on it, which then puts all your waste coming out from additional pipe that we go off to your garden or whatever.
And how often and when to change the filter sponges? I would say if they're degrading, if they're still in good standard, good order, then
when they're breaking down.
a good strip down and giving it a good clean if you needed to.
Yeah, they need taking apart now and again, don't they?
Yeah, to give them a good, deep, heavy clean.
Some of this stuff don't work very well, does it? Some of you tell.
Rich?
Some of this, mate. It falls to bits.
I'm glad you got the sound on.
What you got to do is take them apart, take them out of the pants, take the filters out, and off you go.
Yeah, I'd agree there with what Ginger Pondkeeper says. Claude, take them out and give them a good power wash, but be careful that if you go too close with it, I mean, you can power wash them. If you go too close with them,
how are you going to power wash them? How are you going to power wash them?
Take them out.
The sponges, take them out.
Yeah, but what's going to be in the water that you're putting through the power washer? Chlorine. So you're going to be killing your filter.
Yeah,
well, you're going to be killing them anyway with a heavy deep clean, aren't you?
Sorry, say again.
You're not using them for biofiltration, you're using them as a mechanical filter.
Mechanical.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
sorry.
Well, I suppose you would do, but yeah, if you wanted to give it a deep clean, then power washing them would be a good way to do it. But don't go too close, because as you've seen what it does to a timber fence, for example, you take lazy fence off.
Or polytunnels.
Yeah, blast holes through them. Or paddling pools does.
Paddling pools, definitely.
That happens too.
What you can do if you've got a power washer is you can put your hose pipe into the pond and just use
and draw it through
there. Yeah, draw straight from your water source.
But make sure you've not got blanket weed in your pond. It sucks all that up.
Or you mean that put them in the washing machine?
Mm-hmm.
No,
that'd go down well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think I might end up with clean filters, but a black eye.
Yeah.
We've got another one there. Top Jagger says, "Evening, guys. Will PP sort out my cotton wool disease?"
Malachite better?
I'd say generally, yeah, but you need to find fungal problems. Normally got
a source.
Yeah, a reason for it.
Reason.
But yeah, malachite is generally better for sorting out the fungus.
It's normally secondary to the fungus, isn't it? Normally something else has affected the fish and the fungus
damaged the fish beforehand.
Yeah. So there you go, mate. Malachite better than PP. Well, yeah, no, don't use the PP for cotton wool. I'm taking a washing machine to Chris's.
Well, my fry nets went in the washing machine.
Daz does it. He can get away with it.
Yeah.
You've got a special washing machine outside.
Yeah.
Imagine how that would go, bringing all the stuff back from the farm. It's the spawning mops. Get them in there.
Yorkshire guy saying they're a big blue filter. Sorry, big blue filter than using a hosepipe question.
You won't be able to use Big Blue doing that because you'll be pulling too much water through when you pressure fit on your power washer. So it won't be taking out the chlorine. So ideally, you want to be using water that's not got the chlorine in, and the only place that most people are going to have that is their ponds.
Are you ready
Local
for a
reservoir.
controversial question? This is going to be a good one.
Oh dear.
First one, we will have though. This is Chris Henton. Oh, Chris, man, you got one of my fish that I wanted. I seen it in your picture when you posted it. I'm like, God damn it, that's one. I think that was either the second or third one I'd picked, mate. So yeah, good choice. Chris Henton says, asking for a friend, what can be done to improve sume and make a shuru atsuri grow whopping within a year, unheated?
Was the event was he going to take
It
it?
was, mate. Yeah, it was.
If I tell him, I'll have I can't tell him. Can I?
No, sorry, Chris. Well, he did get an answer like from I think from Matt. Did you put an answer into that one? Polytunnel.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
Yeah, Chris said to put so you did put a polytunnel over it with a wink.
Wait, on that though, with the heat with the polytunnel, are you not at risk that the sumi won't actually develop properly because all you're doing is heating the fish up too much?
No,
Sumi obviously comes out better in cold weather.
Yeah,
you might do.
temperatures.
If you want to get them to grow and the temperature's higher, so you'll be aging them faster. So you're not looking for sumi development in the summer. You're getting the size and the growth, and then in the autumn we can finish them off a bit. Checking out for yours is in my polytunnel, mate.
I just about to send a video over because when you put them in now, I got a video of it, which is quite funny with you, isn't it?
You two played a blinder there, didn't you? Rick picked two females. You picked a male. There's a little spawning trio in the very near future. That'd be cool to see what they produce. And there we got here. Tina Williams says, sorry, guys, all my pond stuff goes in the machine. Everybody, if you want to wash out, get your filters sorted out, pop round Tina's. She's not bothered by it. We can all get them deep clean. DT says there, I got one of Gaz's choices too. You did, mate? You very much did.
Yeah, but Gaz had 25 choices.
I didn't. I only had 5, but that one of which I knew 100% was one that Mr. Tate wanted, and that fish went second fish. So both me and Mr. Tate were good because I were hoping to beat him to it, but I didn't get the chance to. And I think I went something like 4 from last as well. I got all right down at last pickings, but still came away with a nice one. In fact, I shall show you. I won't show you the fish, obviously, because that would be a bit cruel just to have the fish on a shelf at the side of me. But I got. Can we see that? I came away with that one.
I got one like that.
I got one like that too.
Didn't get a fish, but got one like that.
I don't like one. That was mine. That I came away. I'm happy with it.
Have you got yours, Rick?
Have I got mine?
Yeah,
Well, I hope so. They're all in the pond.
No, the certificates.
They're at work somewhere. Yeah, no. See, Gaz's looks like that. That's like a nice example. I didn't go for a pretty example, mate.
What did you go for, Rick?
I went for the winner. No, I went for the purely.
Why did you buy two, then?
Whitest female. My first choice, it was 3 or 4, very obviously female, exceptionally white skin. Yeah, forget the pattern, forgetting proper nice body shape to grow. So that's my criteria. The pattern didn't even come into it, so they don't look. Today on the certificates, they look. All 3 of the ones we got, actually, to be fair, all look pretty much like nice white fish with a little bit of black here and there.
All the ones that I wanted with little pattern, with real good bodies, went well early.
Yeah, but I think the trouble with Shiro is that there's something that if we can discuss so many times that what you should look for, that actually people almost overlook some of the prettier ones because you're looking for the white skin and the body to a point where you're almost overlooking some of the other aspects. For me, that's what I was looking for because ideally I'm not doing it for the ground competition. It's a bloodline of fish that I'd like. So I've got specifically 2 females and a male.
Yeah.
That was the plan, and that's exactly
what you got.
What we got.
Yeah.
And a good choice as well, though. Be interesting to see. I went with that one with the hope that a lot of that's baby sumo, and that's going to drop back, recede a little bit, and we might get something else off of it at a later date. Or we're just going to end up with a fish that looks real good now and naff in the future.
Did you not notice you had a small touch of Benny coming through on the gill plate?
Mine?
Yeah.
There were 1 second, ladies and gents.
Gaz, that one there, mate, I would pretty much guarantee will look like that.
It'll pretty much guarantee it'll stay looking like that.
It will. That sumi on that will stay pretty much as is, and it will develop more on that. It will finish up on the head and shoulders. That's one of those sort of fish. So it's pretty much guaranteed. That is what it's going to be, with just a bit more on the head and shoulders.
What about the pecs, though? With them being, they're not fully black.
They'll recede. The pecs will recede.
Recede. That's what we're hoping for as well.
So you'll have a really pretty pattern fish. There's no. That's nice.
Oh, you've just timed yourself out. Terribly sorry. 5 minutes. Give us
Use
5
the P
minutes.
word.
I said
What he's actually doing is setting you up for failure. So if that fish comes back, which he expects is bloody awful, he's going to blame you and say, well, the fish I said was this cracking one and you've ruined it.
Glass's pond is going to come back exactly the same size. Isn't it?
Yeah. I think that was the first thing I checked for Marek to make sure it had 2 eyes sorted. To be fair, though, I mean,
the pattern on yours, that mate, is superb.
There weren't a bad fish in there, really, was there?
There wasn't.
And if my male dies, Gaz, I'll be coming after yours.
Do you reckon that is male? Because that's what I were hoping for. Because that looks more like a more yellower head to it, doesn't it?
That definitely looks male, mate.
Sweet. Yours definitely looks female, and yours has got the real pale body with the more pattern with the more whiter body. So we've got a male and a female does.
So you've done exactly the same as me, haven't you?
We did. We did. But we've got to put some size in them first, don't we?
I hope Fujiomo's not watching. He'd be like, oh, for fuck's sake, everyone's nicking him.
Everybody's breeding fish. Yeah, that's what we went for. Gary Coy says, I built a fiberglass pond, all sorts of surfaces. My front pond was raised bed for 6 years, dug it out, filled it with water, no leaks. See it on the video before and after. There we go, Gary. We'll have a butcher's, mate. Nice one.
I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? If you build a fiberglass, if you do, if you're good at fiberglass or you do it heavy or whatever, then it's fine, isn't it? It's quality. You can't argue with it, but a lot of people get quotes. They go for cheap jobs or they get someone else to do it. They don't normally do ponds. They do, like, say, boat building or other fiberglass work. They can do a job, but does that job last? You can't come back to them because they don't do it. It's just one of them things, isn't it? There's not many other things. The amount of people I know that have had fiberglass and done by not pond professionals, fiberglassers that do other stuff that will do a pond, but they don't really know what they're doing. They know what they're doing with fiberglass, but they don't know what they're doing in terms of building a pond. It's to do with, we know how to do fiberglassing on a mold to make this.
Yeah. So a lot of fiberglassing work like that, separate to doing a pond, is molds, isn't it? They have casts and molds which they line out and then fiberglass them in, leave them for so many days on, and then pop them out, don't they? And you've got like
easy
the hull of a boat or whatever, isn't it? Or a roof or a
easy pond. Easy pond is fiberglass. No, there's nothing wrong with it. My comment was only made really that the automatic reaction is everybody goes fiberglass, and it's just almost like a word or a phrase that you use when somebody says, "What's the best line of a pond?" and why? There's a huge difference in the cost difference between the two. I did it as an exercise back along, got a price for fiberglassing and a price for a box liner, and it's like 5 times as much. Does it warrant to pay that much amount of money? My ponds here, I'm a big one. You certainly, when you look at it, you would not know, apart from around the top, that's outside of the water level, you would not know it was fiberglass or it was butyl liner.
Yeah.
And the bit that I wanted to do was make sure that my filtration was right for the fish, rather than paying over the odds for something that is or is not a better product.
Yeah.
Brizzle Coys just said there, fiberglassing for the first time on Saturday. Wish me luck. You might want to speak to Matt. Matt first. Might change your mind.
But if you're going to do it yourself, and it's one of those things, again, it's a skill you learn as you do it. It's not a nice job, is it?
No, it's not. It's not a nice job, and it's not easy either. It's not easy to do.
It's messy, itchy, just downright nasty.
You can make it a different colour. Go a nice green one.
I get asked that quite a lot about the colours of the liners that we do. And yeah, why would you ever have a blue pond?
Yeah, or a green one.
Yeah,
but black is the colour.
But they always end up green anyway, don't
they? They do. Yeah.
Dark.
My normal comment back is, what colours do we do? It's normally black and very black.
Like Henry Ford.
Jigsy says if a boat fiberglass does a pond and it doesn't hold water, he's done a good job. As boats keep water out, he's not done a good job. Right then, let's get on to the first. This is going to be.
First question. What we've been doing all night?
Right, here we are, Chelpin, mate. That's what we were doing. Paula Chilton's asked thoughts on where to purchase koi. Israel, Polish, or Japanese, taking into account KHV policies, etc. Is it worth the risk?
Don't worry about English. They can do one.
Well,
Gaz, can I say my point on this one? Because I know we have to.
Certainly can, mate. But I'm glad you're asking me to read it all out. Because that was long.
I know we had a bit of a conversation over it. My point on that was, with the Israeli, in my eyes, and it's only my eyes, is like flipping a dice, because the majority of the Israeli koi are vaccinated or got the immunity to KH3, and when they are injected or treated with it, it is not a lifetime one, it's only a certain period. So when you're going through a quarantine period with those fish, how are you going to be able to trigger the KH3? And in the way that we do it with the Japanese ones, we would know whether they have, potentially 99% have KH3 or not. But if they've got the inoculation against KH3 coming in from Israel, how would you know? Because you can't test. So in my eyes, that's flipping a coin that you don't know, or they do.
Is it not? Is it not in a statement from? Is it Sarah Reynolds?
Yeah, that was Paula Reynolds.
Paula Reynolds, sorry, Paula Reynolds, who said that there is no vaccination for KHV.
They use a weakened live virus to vaccinate, but a lot of the confusion comes. The main farm in Israel didn't go down that road. They went down through a biosecure road, and they are biosecure and clear from KHV. So Hazariah is a facility that is in Israel that is the same as all your Jap fish or whatever, where they're free from KHV and they do everything KHV free. The other kibbutz went down a road of using a vaccine, which is where the problem lies with. If you test the fish, they'll test positive because they've got antibodies. So the test is for the antibodies to the problem, not to the virus itself. I don't why there's so much choice for people out there. Stuff from Poland's good. Stuff from England's good. Depends on what you want. Stuff from Japan's good. I don't get why we need to import fish from Malaysia, Singapore, Israel. Potentially got these problems that aren't. Japan is monitored massively. The farms are checked. If they have a problem out there, the government's all over it. It's big business. So why would you?
So how if that's the case, then I'm just it's got to be my job on it. This is a bit where I've got to throw in the devil's advocate bit, right? If that's the case and Japan are monitor as much as they are, how is it that UK importers have had KHV on numerous occasions in the same place from suppliers in Japan?
Because those suppliers were they were basically, once that goes back to the supplier, they were found that they had KHV and were dealt with and not allowed to supply fish anymore until they could prove they were clear from it. So the protocols are in place as they are here and in Poland. We're all following the same blueprint, the same rules. Whereas Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, all those places that are importing fish aren't following. So you might have. I don't see there's a need. You can get cheap enough fish locally sourced. You can get cheap enough fish from safe sources to save a few pence and get shipments in from unsafe sources. It just blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah, it's just a massive risk unnecessarily.
When KHV was a real, I say a real problem. It is a real problem. But when it first came out and it was scaring everyone to the point, CFAS imported a load of boxes themselves from all over the world and found KHV in so many of the samples, it was ridiculous. And now they're going to make it non-notifiable because it's now endemic in this country. There's so many cases of it in this country, they can't control it. It's not controllable anymore. So basically, they're saying, well, we can't do anything about it. It's just too widespread now. Just be careful and do sensible stuff. But yeah, it just the stuff from Japan is pretty safe. The government there is massive business, and if one farm out there has a problem, everyone knows about it, and it's shut down. It's kind of
Ricky, does
slip through, but it happens.
If an individual goes down with KHV, is that recorded and registered against on Gov website?
It should be. It was because it's notifiable. So every single incident of KHV in this country should be on there. There's a database of every single. But the trouble is, once it started,
is that just dealers, though, Rick? Sorry, is that just dealers, or is that any private owners?
Fisheries. It's dealers and fisheries. An individual person obviously isn't in that loop, but anywhere where you've got. So originally, when the first legislation come out, was if KHV is found, it will all be destroyed, disinfected. The first place that had KHV was Broadlands, linked to the River Test, and they're like, oh, well, we can't do anything about that. And from then on, it's kind of So any dealer or anyone registered, any fishery that has had KHV should be on that register, and they get fish movements are banned or whatever. So, and that's become less and less strict as the disease has sort of rolled along and become more and more prevalent. So originally it was destroy and disinfect, then it become on no fish movements until a year after you've had mortalities or whatever. Fisheries, they still kept letting people fish them whilst the fish have got issues with KHV and dying. It's one of those situations that there's CFAS that people are trying to control it, and DEFRA just haven't got the manpower to do it.
So Ricky, on the Gov website, it's only showing over the last 4 years on each year only one dealer or koi outlet, aquatic centre, should I say, going down with it. So
if that's one that's been notified and proven that's got it or whatever. So Gary, obviously when Gatwick had it, should be on there.
Yeah, Gary's on there, but then I think roughly there was about 30 different sources of KHV that have been notified to Gov. And on each year, there was only one that flicked around. Obviously, we had the one instance with Gary.
Does it say who or, well, not obviously, does it say where their imports was from? Which country?
No. So, it won't know. So what on the government, also on CFAS's page, should say anyone that's had suspected KHV or proven, tested positive for it, and what steps are taken before they can trade again or whatever. So it would be, it was in saying Gary's quarantine. So the quarantine facility was destroyed until cleared or whatever, but they don't ever point the finger at where it came from. because that's obviously hearsay or
Well,
whatever.
no, I weren't meaning in the sense of, you know, oh, it was Steve from so and so koi farm, but you know, if you had these came from Japan, these came from Israel, these came from Indonesia, these came from Japan, you know, wherever.
To be fair, it should be. I mean, the whole point, the whole CFAS is traceability. So everyone that deals with fish should have like an EWOS number. So we only have to record. We record everything we send, but we record stuff that goes to another dealer or another. It's no, the trouble with the ornamental industry is so many dealers are small that deal with fish but aren't actually registered as dealers with like CFAS and whatever. So we only have to record what goes to other people that have got the CFAS references.
Yeah.
So there's a traceability. So if we supply another farm, or we supply a dealer that's registered, you've got that traceability. But then it goes off to smaller dealers and people that buy and sell fish. Anyone that deals with koi, buys koi, generally sells them at some point or gives them away, or so they get moved about all over the place. And none of that's, it can't be traceability, or you know, that's where all these problems roll along from. So there isn't a paper trail. You might have a paper trail from a farm in Japan to a dealer in this country, but before that dealer's finished quarantine, they've gone to so many different people, and those people have sent them to so many different people. That's how these things get spread around so quickly.
Yeah. What is the general control for KHV? Is it Virkon? I mean, when I've been fishing on certain lakes where they have the net dip, there's this like weird pinky looking stuff, big drum that you dip your nets in. Is that Virkon?
You get Virkon. So that's an antiviral disinfectant. So basically just disinfecting on and off keep nets and mats, slings, all the stuff that come into contact with a fish or whatever. But it doesn't work as a disinfectant if you're moving a live fish from A to B, you can't disinfect that fish from A to B. It doesn't work. But you know, I don't think it'll make any difference. KHV becoming unnotifiable is not going to make any difference. Ulcers are a bigger problem than KHV. They haven't been notifiable ever. It comes down to just buy from people you trust. Speak to people. Because if the dealer's selling fish that are crap and they're killing other people's fish, the word will get out there pretty quick. And I don't see it making really any difference. But I don't see the reason to import cheap fish. Why buy fish in from Singapore at 10 pence cheaper for a bunch of little koi
trouble, isn't it?
than you can get from your local fish farm in this country or a Polish farm that have got a clean bill of health, that are checked and looked after, or even the Jap stuff isn't, you know. If you care about livestock, care about where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, visit dealers, visit as many dealers as you can. Go on, speak to people, go on whatever forum you use, whatever Facebook, chat to everyone. This guy sells nice, healthy fish. Oh, they're too expensive to me, but this person will supply fish cheaper, but they're still healthy. But don't go to this person because they'll supply any old thing.
Yeah.
There's no regulation for dealers, and the trouble is with koi, you have dealers that have been going for donkey's years that are, you know, it's their livelihood, and you get other people that trade out their garage and buy a box of fish from wherever. It's just one of those.
I'm glad you said that, Ricky, because that's one of my bloody pet hates is people dealing from backstreet garages and have not got pet shop licenses. You know, what I have to go through to hold my pet shop license, and I know we spoke, Rick, there's a big difference between Ricky and myself and what I've got to do. And you wouldn't believe the amount of records I've got to do. But then you can have other people that are just starting their name up. They haven't got a pet shop license. They have to do no quality control whatsoever and selling fish. And you may buy fish cheaper from somebody like that. But the reason is because they don't do what we have to do. They haven't got the overheads of managing the water, doing the tests. So I have to 3 times a week. I have to keep a record of all of this. Do a scrape on one of the fish from every single tank. I've got to do water testing daily, observations, and keep records of those observations daily. All medication going into any of my ponds, I've got to record, and I've got to record the results and the findings from that treatment. You know, that takes a hell of a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you know,
there's a lot more involved in it than what your everyday Joe public would think, isn't there? Heck of a lot.
Massively, yeah. You know, I don't like blowing my own trumpet, but the amount of work that I have to do to keep maintain that is phenomenal. It is absolutely unreal. Now, even we all get it, and of course, when you've got a quantity of it, you get dead fish. I've got to record the fish, where it came from, what means of disposal I used, and what my findings were of that on every single dead fish. You know, luckily for me, there's not many of them, but we got to keep that record. It's just unbelievable, really. Well, not unbelievable. I understand why it's done, but it's not fair that you can have these backstreet people selling the fish from the garage and don't go out through the testing, don't have that control. And that's like what Ricky was saying with the ulcers. You know, if one of those people have got ulcers in their tank and they pass that fish on to your setup, boy, you're in trouble, and you are in trouble.
Especially now. I mean, there's a lot of people out there now that are probably thinking, I really wish I didn't buy that one particular fish off of Facebook Marketplace or wherever, or off eBay, or picking up a couple of fish from one person, buying them off of another person, buying off from another person, and buying them from another person, and then you're putting all those fish together. It's just a ticking time bomb and a risk. I couldn't agree with, and there's a lot of people saying it, I couldn't agree with it more. Find a trustworthy supplier, dealer, breeder, stick with them, purchase your fish from them, and if you have to wait and save up to get a better quality fish, just the way to think of it is, right, everybody sticks so many different treatments in when they get a problem, and you think nothing of going out and spending 30-40 quid, and then another 30-40 quid, then another 30-40 quid. That fish dies before you know it. That fish that you saved for buying at 30-40 quid, but putting 150 to 200 quid for treatments in, trying to save it when you've got a problem, when it's brought a problem, you've saved nothing. It's the same old saying, you know, buy cheap, pay twice. It's always the case. Stick with someone that's reputable, someone that you know does all the things like what Matt does, like what Rick does, like what Daz will be doing in the future when he opens up and starts his own business.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you've got to do it that way.
There's no shortcuts, Gaz.
There isn't at all. And life bites you on the ass when you try to take them.
Well, I had somebody last year. It's funny, I always remember them. They don't go on social media, so I'll be all right saying this one. But they phoned up, wanted to buy some small fish. What was the cheapest fish I had? I responded with a £25, would sort you out with some small ones. And they went off and they bought from somebody else some fish that cost them a £5. The following week, their fish were dying, not just the new ones, but the whole lot of them. And they were absolutely plastered in every single parasite that you can imagine. How we know that it came in on that pond was because they had kept some of the fish in a fish tank inside the house as well to grow them on, and they were dying at the same rate as the ones in the pond. So whatever parasites they got, they came in with, not that it was a case that they were already in the pond, because we had 2 different isolated areas that the fish were dying. And by the time they'd paid out all the medication costs, not medication, treatments for the fish to get rid of the trichodina, to get rid of the prostia, to get rid of the flukes, and then come back and replace those fish from me, it wasn't worth it. Yeah. And they openly, and they've been back already this year and done the same, and they know that the quality of the fish or the price of the fish they're getting is what they expected, and they haven't got any hidden problems with those fish. So cheap is not always the case.
Yeah. I say not necessarily financially, it's not necessarily cheap. It's to do with the person you're getting them from.
Yeah.
You go spend 500 quid from someone and buy a fish that's covered in all sorts. It's not to do with money. It's to do with a dealer.
It's whether they're trustworthy.
They know their stock, don't they? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
If you know your stock and you're happy to sell fish, you know that you're there for years. We survive off repeat custom. All dealers. Yeah. So if you supply crap, you're not going to live. You're not going to survive in a bit. It's only a little business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone that keeps fish pretty much knows each other within a few people because that's the kind of world we live in. So
part of the pet shop license rule is that you must at all times display your certificate at the place or your premises where you're selling the fish from. So if you walk into a place and you don't see that license on the wall, that's a good pointer.
You've got to have a conscience as well. I mean, you know yourself, if your fish aren't right, there's no way you should be selling them if you know in your heart of hearts that the fish aren't right.
Yeah, but in terms of things, you can have fish that seem happy as Larry and they're clean. Every time you move fish, you can have issues with fish. So it's not as, you've got your pond of fish, you've scraped them, they're fine, everything's fine. You get a customer coming, I haven't put any fish in my pond for 10 years, but I'm going to add some new ones. And you're like, immediately you're a bit worried then because they're fine. But when you put the two batches together, you can bet your ass one of them's going to have a reaction.
Yeah.
But yeah, stick to if you've got a local dealer and they're good, stick to them. But if you try, the more places you see, the more people you speak to, the better.
Yeah.
Don't just go everywhere. Speak to everyone, and you'll soon start to see.
You build a bigger picture, don't you?
Healthy, look amazing. You go somewhere else, you think actually didn't realise that first time I come here, but those fish look, all cloudy and in the bottom. Perhaps I shouldn't be buying them. I don't. Yeah.
It's a hard choice, isn't it? Everybody wants the bargain if they can get a bargain, but is it worth the bargain if the bargain becomes a problem? But as I will say, and as we have said many times before, and there are some other people out there doing lives that are repeating and singing from the same hymn book that we've been singing from for 12 months and longer, if not a year and a half. Quarantine, man. Quarantine your fish. If in doubt, quarantine them out. And that way then you know that you're not going to be putting something else in. And we had this topic and we had this question, and now we've got Crafty on. I can double check and make sure that what I'm saying is right. If we're going in, as Rick has said in the past, is with his advice, if you're going to put some fish in and you're going to quarantine them, if you're adding any more fish to that quarantine system, then that quarantine system should start again. And the word quarantine means 7 weeks, not 4 weeks, not 3 weeks, not 2 weeks. And if you can do it for longer than 7 weeks, do so. If you can afford to do it and make sure that you've got no problems, that's what you need to be doing. But you also need to be adding, as Rick said in the past, a trigger fish. Now, as Crafty's got in Perfect Aquatics, there were questions coming in and they were, why is there a bigger fish in every tank?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I shouldn't need to tell you why there's a bigger fish in every tank. You tell me why there's a bigger fish in every tank. Well, the trigger fish. The bigger fish is the trigger fish. They're an older fish. Why are the bigger fish in there? Well, these are small young torsai that is banging in a bigger fish that's been exposed to more stuff than the younger fish. So you put a bigger fish that's seen more, been around the block once or twice, in with that tank, and then if that fish brings out anything on those other fish, you've triggered a reaction, and that's what they're there to do.
It's not the size, Gaz. So, by the way, evening everyone. I have been listening in the car on the way home, and I've been pegging it in because I thought
you couldn't miss it.
Proper. I thought that actually what I've just heard is banging, real top quality, and it's not. To get back to what you're saying, Gaz, it's not the size of the fish. Okay, so what you need to do is ensure that the fish that is being put into trigger, you would notice in the ponds are not the best quality, right? But there's a reason for that, and that's because we know that there's been an exposure to like sleeping sickness, etc. So the fact that we know there's been that exposure means that they have built that immunity to it, they've come through it, and if the fish that we're quarantining have not been subject to that, they will go down, and they will go down quick, which means that we can then bring it on. But you element it in with not only a bigger fish being put into a pond of small tozai, that in itself creates a stress environment. You then ramp the heat up, which again changes everything within the pond's conditions. So you are really stress testing that fish. So when you bring in the likes of KHV, which is what you started with on the question, KHV comes into play more effectively for the disease in a certain temperature band. So what you're doing, you're stressing that fish out all at once into that temperature band. So if KHV, sleeping sickness, etc., is present, it's going to show. And that's if people are quarantined properly or quarantining properly, that is pretty much in a nutshell what is expected in order to ensure that the fish that the likes of Rick, Matt, I are presenting and selling to everyone doesn't pass on them problems. Because if it hasn't been done, I promise you, when you're QT and fish, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of uncertainty. Every time I go in, when I lift the top covers up, I shit myself every day thinking, is it going to be the day that I've got KHV in my ponds? Because it's so disruptive to the business that everything gets shut down. You then have to publicly tell people, which is the right thing to do, not sweep it under the carpet and keep it secret. You know, so if you're not seeing that and you're taking a risk on a punt for a five-pound fish, be my fucking guest, but reap the rewards, is what I say.
Yeah. Simon's just said, up north, Koi Pond's just put, having a QT is all well and good, but what good is it if they're sat in unheated tanks? Because KHV comes out in temperatures between 16 and 28 degrees C, which most ponds can have that temperature throughout the summer period.
Okay, so the quarantining aspect from Matt's place, my place, Rick's place is not you should not be trying to incur sleeping sickness or KHV. That is done at ours. That's done where we go, what we do. You should be sold a fish that is clean, is disease free, and put through all of that before it hits your pond. The reason you're going to quarantine it is a safeguard to not introduce a problem. So if you do get anything within that system, it's generally more parasite issue that you're not introducing into your pond. Because one thing that no dealer can do is ensure that all fish are parasite free.
No.
And also, if there's a virus that you've got in your pond or bacteria in your pond that your fish are coping with, and you don't have that quarantine facility, you need to put that trigger fish in there so you have better control over your new purchases to treat them accordingly. Like if they're in a 25,000 litre unheated pond and you go down with a virus that's in that pond, you have next to no control or method to actually heat up, salt, etc., to bring them through. If they're in a quarantine and you've got an issue, at least you do have an option of putting a 1 kilowatt heater on it to help them through that stage.
But yeah, so you come to the point where it's just like Simon saying, "Oh, you got a quarantine tank that you can't warm." So if you're buying from a reputable source, then you realistically, all you should be dealing with, like I said, maybe white spot or a fluke, something that's going to pop out you can deal with. Vince has put on there about those that haven't got quarantine facilities, then you need to be very careful where you buy from.
Yeah,
if you haven't got quarantine,
a reputable dealer that is hopefully done that. And the worst case scenario, what you're going to get then is a parasite infection where you're going to have to treat your pond.
I'm not being funny. It scares crap out of me, the amount of fish we sold to people on social media that have put fish straight in their ponds, even in the last few months. And I know our fish are right, but it still scares. They're putting their faith in us, and they're putting their fish straight in their ponds.
Trusted dealer. I like to make you sit there.
No, trusted dealer. But I was having this conversation this morning with somebody on the way into work. It's right. So
soon as I know that fish has left my establishment, I've already done my homework. I know where the fish is going, but 99% of the time, it's word of mouth. What that koi keeper then does with that fish generally is bad practice that leads to an issue. So, for example, not acclimating a fish and going from 10 degrees to 24 degrees, boom, straight in. All right, straight away, you're incurring a fucking problem into that fish. When that fish turns over because you've not followed the practice that you should, do I take the hit on that? Is it down to me? Have I sold a shit fish? No, because I can guarantee my fish are fucking perfectly healthy when they leave my establishment. I've kept them for months healthy. So why is it all of a sudden that when it's got to your water, it's dead? Why is that my issue? But do I have to take a hit on it? Sometimes we do because customer service kicks in. But ultimately, it comes down to practice and education. But too many people don't tell you the truth as to why that fish has really turned over.
Yeah,
they just portion the blame and prevent it.
Jumped out of the pond.
At 12 degrees.
You
and
get the
I've
other
got
side
a
of that, though. The fish that are quite happy. You box for you go out on a courier 24 hours, temperature changes, and that fish then comes out with white spot and has a bad reaction, and you do have to deal with it. But yeah, you can say every single fish that leaves our farm, I've had since it was an egg. I've had it its entire life.
Yeah.
I've kept it alive its entire life.
Yeah.
And 2 days after I sent it, it does happen, and that's life. You can only. It's kind of, this feels a bit like scaremonger, and everyone's, oh, don't do this, don't do that. It's quite koi are pretty robust, and if you're careful where you buy from, there shouldn't be any issues. And if there is an issue with a particular fish, it can normally be solved. The problem is when you introduce something to your pond, like ulcers, like KHV, that you're screwed. Literally, screwed. That is just avoid that. That's all I can say. Avoid it. Yeah. And the only way of avoiding it is buying from trusted sources, isn't it? That's it.
Right, on that note, gents, I've got to fly out. It's witching hour.
Witching foxing hour.
I'll tell you something, mate. The deer around your way are very well behaved.
Believe it or not, that came from Exmoor and been hit by a car, had a broken leg, and I drove 2.5 hours to go and put it out of its misery. But it's such a magnificent specimen.
You've had it strapped to your shoulder ever since.
Yeah. Where's the rest of it then?
The other side of the wall.
I thought he was going to say drove 2.5 hours.
Or in Ricky's squeezer.
Yeah, I've got quite a bit, yeah.
Right, nice talking to you guys.
Thanks for joining us, Matt.
Yeah, cheers, Matt.
I'll meet you in the pub. I'm off to go get a beer.
Yeah, there's one.
Matt's just next door. I didn't tell you that. There he is. Look.
Yeah. So that's KHV touched on. That's Israeli koi touched on.
I don't. Israel gets such a bad name.
This is what that was my reply to Matt when well, I'm not going to say what he put because we had a discussion and I said there are hundreds of thousands of fish leave Israel every year without a single problem. And it's unfair to say that all Israeli dealers or breeders produce fish or have fish that are vaccinated and have KHV because they don't. But like all things, it gets a bad rap, bad reputation, and mud sticks. And it's not necessarily the case.
The thing that winds me up is Israel had a problem. They were the ones that isolated the KHV virus. But that virus then became worldwide.
Yeah.
Israel don't ship worldwide. Japan do. Israel don't.
Yeah.
Suddenly, how did it become global from Israel? It didn't. But they found it. They're the ones that actually went down a path of trying to sort out a vaccine and whatever. The way they're produced in Israel is different than most of the world. if you've got a dealer that has Israeli fish and you've got a pond and you stock his what, there is nothing. I don't get. There's no issue with it.
It's horses for courses at the end of the day, isn't it?
If you start trying to mix stuff from vaccinated stuff from Israel, unvaccinated stuff from Israel, stuff from Poland, stuff from England, stuff from Japan, stuff from pond jobs around the corner, and stuff from eBay, you are then just walking down a road where at some point someone's going to bite you on the ass.
And it will. And when it does, it will not just be a nibble, it will fuck you up.
But if you've got a decent dealer that supplies whatever, and you're happy with those fish,
stay there.
You're fine. It's just mixing stuff is just a nightmare. That is period.
That's me death.
Beyond that.
So to summarise, a reputable dealer, stroke breeder, stroke farm.
Yeah, and if you go look at the fish, go everywhere, look at the fish. And if you go down wherever you're going, if you're looking at the fish and the fish look good and they look happy and the customers are in there and they bought fish from there for years and they're all happy, that's obviously a good place. Word of mouth. People say, yeah, I've been coming here for 20 years. The fish have always been good as gold. Chances are they're good as gold. But if you start buying, like I say, from all over the place, then that's when you start needing it. And for me, the better your collection of koi, the more you need a decent quarantine setup. Because if you've got an empty pond, you're starting from scratch, you ain't got a lot to lose, have you? But as you've suddenly got 10 years of fish in your pond that you spent 20 grand on, that they become so valuable, not just the money, but you've had those fish. They become part of your...
Yeah.
You get attached.
There's time involved in it.
So surely it's in your interest as a caring pet owner to not chuck something in there that's going to cause all sorts of grief. So that's when quarantine becomes more and more and more of an important thing in it.
An important.
It just becomes essential to a point. If you start having...
I'm going to bring this one up because this is a valid point which we've just made. And Dino, I mean, mate, I feel for you, bud. He said, I've bought from backyards, English, Israeli, Jap, Poland, all over the place. And I'm struggling with a bacteria and mouth rot. It's true. It will bite you hard. And at the end of the day, the thing is, Dino, the advice that the panel's giving is it don't bite you hard. It's difficult for us to go through and watch. It's the fish that suffer in the long run.
Yeah.
Although we get upset by it, it's those are the ones that perish from it.
Yeah, and to be fair, I've seen, to be fair, the Jap stuff, it's got better and better. It's become bigger business, better regulated, and actually the fish, just the level of fish, the way they're shipped, everything about it's got better. But there's still new breeders coming out there. Still things can go right or wrong. And when they're shipped makes a big difference. If the ones shipped in the spring when it's cooler, definitely travel better than the ones shipped later in the year. Yeah. But you can say the same for anything. You could, wherever you get whatever from, just knowledge again, just visit places, see places, chat to people. And I think that's just got to be, we might not supply fish that are going to be right for everyone because of the level of the fish, the quality bracket, whatever it happens to be. But there'll be people out there that there's like a step ladder almost of quality and places you go to, but good places. That's kind of, I don't know. It's just, I still wonder why there's just so many shipments come in from so many places around the world. It's just unnecessary.
Yeah.
There was one thing that you didn't touch on, although you did touch on it, but I'll give you an idea. If you go onto NMD's website, their actual website, and then translate it into English, they produce all of the reports from the Japanese government with regards to KHV. It names the breeder. It also gives whether or not they are, or what parameters they must follow, whether or not all shipping ceases, whether they're recalling or etc. It breaks it all down. The Japanese do it well, and the information's there. You just got to know where to look. NND provide all of those reports on the bottom of their website, on the bottom of their webpage.
But that's what I mean. It's regulated well out there, and that's
Yeah.
But stuff coming in from Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, South Africa,
Yeah.
it just blows my mind the amount of places you can ship fish from, and there's no health certificate. You can ship ornamental fish from anywhere.
Totally right. You know, Matt sort of touched on it. I mean, how many ponds does Matt manage? I don't know his establishment well.
He's got 12 ponds.
12.
He's got 5 in each shed. A big pond. So he's got about 12 ponds.
Yeah. Okay. So one man operation, I'm assuming, is a lot of work. You know, when it comes to, he mentioned pet shop licensing and back street sellers, etc. It even comes down to the level of pet shop license that is in place as well, and the different awards now. Pet shop licensing is in place for a reason, but what I will say is that what you get in Wales, what you get in Scotland, what you get in different boroughs of England, they're
different.
They're not all on the same song sheet. Wales pretty much is on the back of a fag packet. All right. Where I am, I have to jump through. Well, you've seen my documentation, Rick. I have to jump through hoops and hoops and hoops and hoops in order to get to where I got to. But you can't achieve a 5-star license unless you've achieved a 3-star for 3 years in a row, for example. And what a 5-star license gives you is the ability to trade for 3 years without having to reapply for a license, but there's snap inspections along the way. In other words, I can have someone from the council turn up tomorrow, and if my documentation is not in order, they will revoke that license immediately, which means that we have to then stop selling fish. So the standards are there for a reason. So although you may have a pet shop license in place, just be aware that different boroughs have different strains of seriousness. Where we are, it's immense.
The crazy thing is, if you ever had anyone else to see your pet shop license?
Nope, but it's on display next to our main entrance.
I know, but
so even coming down to website sales, even on Facebook for social media posts, etc., our license as part of our pet shop license number has to be physically displayed everywhere. Otherwise, we don't get our license. It's part of it. But how many people looking at a website? It should
be. That's kind of. I agree with that. We've never had one until this year because we've never needed one. And we're still kind of in a grey area.
Yeah.
As a producer, we don't need one, but as a shop, we should have one. But the council around us didn't. They're like, well, you don't need one because you're a producer. It's only because other people from different places have been questioning it. They say, actually, perhaps you should have one. It's fine. I don't. We'd adhere to whatever. It's if you're looking after fish and keeping fish healthy, you're basically adhering to what they want.
You know,
that's kind of the upshot. Is if the water's good, the fish are healthy. You're
totally right. Anyone that comes into our place behind the koi counter, there is a number of clipboards that have got observation reports, our medication reports, our latest test results for water. Everything is clearly on display. And if anyone wants to challenge it, it will be there. You know, I can get it up digitally as well. You know, I can show everything, even down to the point where my stock has come from, what date it was bought in, what the quarantine procedure was. Any fish that has gone through any treatment is listed, and it is listed with what we found, how it was listed, if it was separated, why it was separated, what our treatment was when it was reintroduced, if it's gone down that road, all there, and it's so transparent. Anybody that can't produce you with that is not, in my eyes, a reputable dealer. You know, and the fact that I sit on social media, right, and I'm here and I say this is what we do, that's my transparency. You know, and I know that I run a tight ship, and I know that there's other people out there that will say they do, but when challenged, they won't have shit to show.
Yeah, to be honest, we haven't got that. But the fact is, every single fish we've got is ours, so it's kind of slightly different where they come from. Well, from us. just there, whatever. So, you know,
there's a difference. There's a difference there, Rick. You're still here, and you're still up front, and you will tell people through everything that you've got. There's nothing hidden. You're constantly on social media. People see what you do.
Yeah. I'm just saying. It's just like I say. You can record every tank you've got is from a farm, and that's how it should be. And obviously, we've got every single fish that goes out mail order, every single fish that's off the farm. So CFAS come in. We have the pet shop. We have CFAS. So they all come in and it's checked. So we've licensed to sell 250,000 fish a year through the shop with our pet shop license.
Yeah,
700,000 fish a year through the farm from our CFAS license, and but we have to jump through hoops the same, and you're always on a bit of a knife edge because if they come in one day actually, I don't, on our SVC check, they go actually those fish look like I got SVC, then suddenly it's notifiable. We could be ceased from trading, just like that. So
the other thing is, it's once we know what comes in, we've got our quarantine reports. If I move a tank of fish from one tank from inside to outside, that movement is also logged. The date and the time is also logged, right? And then if I sell a fish, like for example the NND stuff, everybody on there, I know who has got. So every certificate was numbered, right? So I know everybody that bought one of them fish. So if we had a problem with those, I can go back to every individual person on there.
The winner, by the way.
Not everybody has got a certificate, but what I do when it goes through, I know when I sell a fish, we mark down what fish was sold on what day and what pond it come out of. So therefore, I don't need every individual's name and number. But when it goes through the till, because we run a system where we take down everyone's name and number and we award points as a loyalty scheme, part of having that is taking an email address and a telephone number. So we can actually track from Japan through the quarantine, every movement in store, every treatment in store, every individual fish, if there's an individual treatment, is logged. If we pick up a problem with that tank of fish after a sale, I can even look back at when that sale was made and then log it to that individual. And I have to produce all of that to my council in order to achieve my pet shop license.
It's called traceability. That's what they want to achieve.
Yeah, but not all councils go to that length.
No, but that's But surely it is improving the fact that actually they're going. Daz has got to get on board next. You get he was no.
You're ready for all this, mate. Sounds like you're gonna have a lot of play, but you're gonna need a secretary.
But Daz, when you do, mate, I've got so much that I can just save you so much hard work, mate, because everything's in place. All you've got to do is prove that them policies are there and that you adhere to them. I've got everything. Yeah. I've written it all, mate. So
brilliant. Thanks,
I'm happy to share that with people that is worthy, to be fair.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah.
It costs you.
I'm looking forward to it. But...
£1,000.
You charged me too.
Yeah, well, that is just starting out. You can have money in the bank, mate. No problem. Anyway, enough. I think
let's look at some Sankey. I don't know it was Sankey Day today.
It is, but you see,
last week.
That's why you should join the GKP Facebook group, Rick, and then occasionally look a little bit on social media, and you would have seen that I was posted in there, or even checked out my YouTube channel where it was posted in the community post.
It was
the discussion that we had last week when you was maybe one or two shandies to the west.
Wow. Coming on here is like going to the pub for me.
Good. That's
it is. Have a chat.
To be fair, that's how I prefer it to be. I want it to be comfortable for people to sit down, have a natter, have a chat, have a drink, have a nap. I've always maintained that this is pretty much what we do night in, night out. All right, when you guys come on, we get a lot more in-depth information, and like people like Matt that's just come on and done all that thing and told us everything what he does. But this is how we spend our evenings, and making this format into a live is exactly how I want you to feel like it being. You know, you're having a sit down, having a beer, having a laugh, and having a natter, and having a joke. That's what it's about. Have a smoke.
I don't smoke. I do. Only secret.
I just read the have a smoke. Roll a big sheeter.
I've got to try and find a saint now.
Does Rick sell ghost kites? Not kite.
I do, but you can never find them because
they're the ones in the empty tanks, or so you think.
We do sometimes do them, to be fair. I'm not particularly keen on them, but actually some of the Macasio ones are kind of like ghost coin, aren't they? That's true.
This is the next one that I want this to be what I think is, and I'm not going to say my opinion on this one, but David Hodginson has asked a question. What's your views on koi getting costlier immediately after treating for flukes? What is the reason why this happens frequently? And is there a way to avoid this? You hear it so many times. I'm treated for flukes.
Yeah.
And now I've got costlier. Now I'm gonna hang about. Sorry, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Now that's what I call bullshit statement of the week. Or is it? Or is it?
I think, to be honest, where it comes from is the fact that the costy is there. Flukes are more dominant. And
yes. Thank you.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It's not internal costy, I don't think.
It's not what?
I don't think it's internal costy, as people say. I'm sure that doesn't actually exist.
Doesn't exist. What it is, at the end of the day, when flukes are prevalent, they're like a dominant species on a fish. Yeah. They are beasts.
They weaken the fish. Yeah.
By the time you've treated them and those fish are stressed, if you've got costia sat there or trichodina or whatever else, you're going to get that secondary bloom.
Opportunist attack.
If there's nothing, if those parasites aren't present, they can't just appear. They can't just
exactly. They'll be there in very low numbers. When the fish is stressed and weak, they'll pounce on it, and all of a sudden you've got a costia problem.
Yeah, but
it's not always that though. It's not. I think that. Did I not say the same thing? This is not staged either. Was it you that I said exactly the same response as what Rick did, Gaz? Because someone asked me about this before, and
it was me. I asked you the other day, sat in van.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
because I just read that question, and I was like, "Oh God, I want to prove this wrong."
That I think that because it's so easy to spot, that people just jump on that straight away without further investigation.
So can we say 100% internal costia is bullshit?
Internal costia is bullshit because it's a parasite that lives on the outside of the skin.
It lives on the outside of the.
What's all internal parasites? The worms generally, aren't they? Because that's the only kind of creature that lives in the intestine.
Not internal costia, which I've never heard of, by the way. So what does it do to get on the skin?
It doesn't. There's no such thing.
I don't get it. Right? So it is bullshit statement of the week. Now
yes, just for the shits and giggles. Hang about. Keep going as you were.
But yeah, people do. I think the thing is, a lot of health problems don't go. You don't get one issue. There's a reason you got an issue.
Yeah,
and like I say, flukes are the easiest first thing you see, but we quite often will see flukes, and we would see costia because we check it all, and the costia is not there in enough numbers if the flukes are there. But by the time you treat the flukes, the costia goes boom.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I've been always thinking as my theory. You come across flukes and you think, shit, there's a rave of flukes going on. You treat for the flukes, you knock back the flukes, and then the costia kick in and come in hard.
It's a perfect scenario if they're there. And it's the same with any everything sort of goes hand in hand. Quite often, if you've got a bacterial problem, quite often you find you've got flukes. They'll trigger something. They'll go. It's just generally an overstocked or unhealthy pond or a stress pond or whatever.
They're opportunists, aren't they? Waiting for foot
The
in the door.
parasites, exactly that. They're a parasite. They'll
Parasite,
wait for
yeah.
an opportunity.
They'll jump on. It's like fungus, isn't it? It's just a
Yeah.
secondary problem to someone else. Normally, it's very rare, almost non-existent, that you have a fungal problem without someone else.
Yeah.
And what is the
Well,
right, to dip into that one a little bit without going massively over it? Normally a knock, a bit of a scuff, a bit of a graze, get a little bit of bacteria in there, and then it becomes a fungus.
Or
Well, no,
something
you get
like,
damage. So you basically any fungus just eats dead tissue and detritus.
yeah, like a pH burn or
Dead
something like
scales.
that would trigger it.
You got a dead scale or damaged area where the bacteria, something's or the fluke, something's damaging the tissue to the point where you got dead tissue. Then you got fungus on the dead tissue.
And then,
'Cause that's just
then it
natural.
explodes from there because it's so fastly reproducing.
So when you root cause analysis it, what happens is a fish flashes because there's a problem, i.e. a fluke,
Parasite.
knocks a scale. You only notice that there's a knock scale because you're not keeping an eye on your koi when their fungus grows. You immediately go to the fungus rather than looking at the first reason why that scale got knocked.
Mm.
So then, just to reiterate. Now that's what I call bullshit statement of the week. Yes.
You've been waiting to use that, haven't you?
I have, and I've been waiting. I've been waiting a week for that. I've been waiting a week for it.
I have read statements that because of an ingredient within fruit treatment, that it actually increases the costia living on the skin, which is again a load of bullshit.
Yeah.
Do we do it again? Do it.
No.
No.
Broke my head already
Yeah.
twice.
Fish parasites can't come from. They can't come from. If you haven't got costia on your fish, it can't come from nowhere.
Correct.
It has to be there, but at low level. And it's one of those parasites that will always be there at low levels on most stock fish to some degree. They live with it, but it's so small. A, you don't see it, and B, if it's at low levels, you're never going to find it.
Yeah.
But it will go boom given that opportunity, especially with young stuff, young koi. It's just, yeah.
And most people, if they saw one costia on a scrape, they'd be doubting, thinking, well, maybe it's just a harmless water bug. It might not be costia, because when you're looking for costia, you're looking for thousands of them generally. It's normally all over the place, aren't they?
Yes.
The skin's going red, but if you're not looking for that, you probably wouldn't even notice it was costia.
It's so small at the end of the day, you'd struggle to see a costia.
Yeah.
Anyway, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah.
And if you do see,
and miss it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Easily. If you do see one costia, you ain't going to fucking treat your pond. And if you do, you need your head testing a bit.
It's just one of those things. I mean, fish will carry so many different things that their immune system deals with it.
Yeah.
Not a problem. It's only when flukes are one that will build up. Argillus is another one. It doesn't really survive in ornamental ponds particularly well, but in a natural environment, it does, and it can build up, and it's quite a tough bugger. But it's actually not really a relevant fish parasite in a normal koi pond.
No, but it's in our lakes and rivers. It's native.
Its life cycle doesn't suit a koi pond where you've got filters and pumps and all the rest of it. Flukes are. I think flukes are more of a problem just for the fact that they will build up on fish. The treatments for them aren't particularly great. The time when they're a problem is generally through the colder months when the treatments don't work. Praziquantel stuff really struggles, and flubenzidone don't work at all. So when at lower temperatures, when you've got flukes, your treatment don't work. So you end up with this kind of rolling on issue every sort of spring. And then suddenly people tend to stop talking about through the summer and autumn because suddenly the treatment's either worked and the fish are happy again. And then every winter and spring, everyone's flukes are a nightmare. I've got flukes, I can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
The treatment doesn't particularly work. If you could eradicate it in summer and then don't put anything else in there, you might get away with it.
Which is exactly the question that was on your page, Gaz, with somebody that was struggling with flukes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly
and it's the pond temp.
Yeah.
That is an issue.
Fuck off, Alan.
Wow, first time I've joined the live and Rick's hair is tidy. And the move's been
tiny.
Facial fungus.
Facial fungus.
Ah, dear. Comes in and gives a compliment and an insult to follow. Eating Alan.
Please put Dino's comment on above that.
I think he's tongue in cheek, mate.
Mate, Dino, I promise you, mate, I did give you a fucking fist pump, mate. No, I'm joking. Honestly, mate, it's not good for anyone to have issues, irrespective.
It's not.
Yeah, it's really not.
Gutted for you, mate. Especially,
No, I am gutted for you.
Well, it's the plus side of it is that you're coming through the other side of it. Fingers crossed, mate. Everything comes good.
It does. You'll
This is the worst time of year for it as well.
So then, a bit of Sankey appreciation, but we haven't got a lot, but we have got some.
I've sent you some now, Gaz.
Yeah.
I panicked. It's the only video I could find on my phone.
Oh, what? I've got
4
one.
o'clock.
We've got, well, in fact, why not? Seeing as though, we shall start with Dino's. First, and genuinely, mate, fingers crossed, bud. I hope everything gets good for you, mate. Last thing I want to see is anybody that's in the community having any kind of problems like that. It's shit. There's been so many people have so many problems with bacterial issues and stuff like that over these last 18 months, 2 years. I just wish we could all see the arse end of it and it just disappear as quickly as it fucking arrived, because it's been an absolute nightmare. So a bit of a Koi appreciation. Let's get in with Dino's first ones. Let's share up these. Actually, oh balls, Dino. Wanted to show that Achieva as well, and I forgot to take it off my damn phone. So these are Dino's to kick it off.
Well, that's nice. Thank you.
Well, now what's wrong with them ones, mate? Anyway.
Stand out in the pond. And then you've got that one with fucking loads of berry and loads of surgery and not that much weight. Crushing emoji. And then you've got that one where
I'm back. Right.
berry to come through. Bit of berry. Loads of there. Emoji, is it? Shiroji.
Listen to Dino. I mean, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but he's actually saying old names: Saroji and Benny and Sumi. Huh?
That's not patronising at all, Gaz.
He's saying it in the video.
Sort of marathon ones, all right, isn't it?
When will it come out? It's starting to come out.
Since I've been 4 inches. 35 cm now. Have a look at the ones.
35 cm.
35, isn't it? I don't know, but
He likes his Deutsch, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You can't hear this, obviously, but there we go. And that was Dino's. The first one's in. So the next ones we've got then are going to be we'll go with Rick's.
I
Hit that for
I
a
did
ball.
panic.
That's not fair. That's all bowl full.
And there was nobody. There is no rules.
Yeah.
Sankey was the selection,
And they were all Sankey.
and they're definitely all Sankey.
Is that yours, Rick?
Yeah. He sounds surprised. Oh, cheers, Grant.
No, I didn't know who sent it in.
I've literally just done it. They're on my phone. They're right, aren't they? I think they're a bowl of males, to be honest. They all look quite
All the
male.
males.
They look like they like sharing a bowl together as well.
Yeah, they do. They look real
Which ones
comfortable in
were
that.
these? These aren't this year's or last year's toe sight, are they, Rick?
No,
Just
no, they were Nisai harvested in the autumn, so be turning Sansai now.
Because they didn't do much last year, did they, the Sankey?
No.
I seem to think you did a load and then you couldn't find any keepers out of them.
I don't think I've got any keepers out of 30, 40,000 after the first go.
Is that just down to the particular spawn, or?
I blame Vince.
Yeah, I would.
Never happened, but no, it was a new parent combination. It was a Matsue female across the Dainichi male, and they're just it was shocking.
I am in a sec.
Did you frisk Vince before he left? Because he probably had all the good ones.
Yeah. See, I give that whole bowl full, and that's better than mine. That's not fair, is it? That's absolutely that's a peach, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Whose is this?
Did that say
shape as
did
well.
that say 52 cm there? Yeah, 52.
Yeah,
That's nice, isn't it?
that's big chunky head.
That is nice. And I'm guessing that's one of your new ones, Chris.
That looks like it's like from Yume, one of his bloody mud pond challenge fish, is it?
The koi for tomorrow, not for today.
Mate, I'll have it today then. You can have it. You can have it when I've ruined it in a few years.
Thank you, 52 cm.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It is very nice.
Even when I put a bowl on, I can't win. That's no good, is it?
That is
It's about the taking part. It's not about the winning.
It is, Daz. Thank you very much. Gary Robson's.
Oh, that's nice.
That's very similar to Randy does.
It does, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Who's not so Randy,
Yeah.
as it happens.
And get some mood music and some soft lighting.
Yeah.
This year's going to be his year.
Joe, Deutz fish are such a cheat, and they look so clean cut, but
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
That's nice, that, Garrett.
Pretty,
Like that,
isn't it?
mate.
Very nice. Do we know who the breeder is for that one?
Hopefully, fingers crossed. Did you say? Oh, no, it doesn't. Bugger. Now, I'm going to go with this and allow it to be sneaked in.
what the shower?
Yes, because Eric, at least this time, has posted in the right place. So we're going to allow it. But that's nice as well.
That's a lovely Sankey.
Quite a good shower, isn't it?
It is a nice shower, yeah.
Yeah, very good.
And that's even, I mean, there's camera skill involved there as well, because that's filming his shower off of the mobile with a mobile. Quality of that, mate. Nice fish.
That takes some doing, doesn't it?
It's got some good body in it.
Guess it's a beast, yeah.
Got some volume.
I'll have some metallic ones with that kind of volume looking at them next year.
Was the two in the bowl that you put in? Was those that you selected through? You put two.
Yeah, there's two little ones I've chucked in the Munga tunnel.
There's another one in there too, isn't there?
There's loads of them, mate. I've only filmed a few of them. That's nice fish. That
is a nice fish. What was the one that you chucked in the Munga tunnel for me? What was that type again? Because I can't remember the
squash tomato.
That was
that wasn't my squash tomato that you found in that bowl.
One of the same lot is a Deutz Ginrin Kinshower.
It is a Deutsch Ginrin Kinshower,
Yeah.
right?
It's a bit of a mouthful, but we'll.
Yeah, that's why a nice little one there, look.
How many people put big fish in little bowls, and now they put the little fish in a big bowl?
Or lots of fish in a small bowl.
Yeah.
I was just moving him.
I'm only joking with you, mate.
I mean, I've got a nice little Sanka. It is progressively getting better year after year. Just needs to put some size on it.
It's quite straight. And Sumi's nice on that, isn't it?
And then we've got.
No, not that one.
No, but I'm showing this anyway.
One below. Oh.
Not allowed to. Been banned.
Hopefully that's. We'll refresh it and see if it comes back through. There we go. Now this is what Crafty likes to do in an evening. He settles down by his pond with his fish and has a little bit of intimate time with his Sanka.
That's my newest addition.
That
It's
looks like.
almost spiritual.
Is that
Yeah.
a Sakai Sank? Is that a Sakai Dragon Ball one?
Nope. Momotaro.
Doesn't look like a Momotaro, is it? That whole bowl full of mine are Momotaro, just bred by me. But they're all his parent. I'll blame him.
What size
It's
was
cat in
it?
the eyes.
I can't remember, mate. 38, I think. That's the same one, mate, because I thought it was an error.
Right then, so let's that's the Sanka. Not so many. Right, tell you what, Rick.
Sure,
Pick
not
a
so
fish.
many. I had 20 or so in a bowl.
Oh yeah, you did, you made up. You made up for everybody else not putting one in by posting 20.
But yeah, the best one, that Tamura Sankey, but from
Yeah, I like that one.
mate.
I posted a couple of Sankis on that thread today. No, you
Yeah,
didn't.
Aaron, I need to have a word with you, mate. You
Yeah.
fish. Yeah.
Sort him out.
Fish
Oh,
bowl, yeah.
there's no hang about. There's no better time than right here, right now. Go for it, Rick.
Yeah,
Well,
don't hold back.
that fish, that Kahaku at Crafty's, mate, that you chaved, I think you should be giving me the Sakai. Don't you?
Saki, you mean?
It's a fair thing to do.
Whatever, mate. A sack of food, I'll have it. I'll have either or. Yeah. And I did you a good deal on that Sankey as well, mate.
Yeah.
Some people, eh? Some
Yeah.
people.
Get a conscience.
For those people, just to
I
put
feel
things,
bad.
let's just put things into context. People will be watching this going, what the fuck are you on about? At last year's event, when it come to Rick's pick, both Aaron and Rick were up choosing, and Aaron nabbed the fish that Rick wanted.
Look, I picked it, and he then nabbed it.
So
Literally.
Swooped in, didn't he, at the last minute?
All I can say, good koi keeping. You turn that crap fish into a good one. Yeah. It must have done
It
all right.
was a nice fish.
Have you got a picture of it? Do we get to see it?
yeah, I'm doing a bit on that later.
All right.
Put in some more, but I sent you one on that chat, Gaz.
Yeah, that's nice as that. I'll share this one. Can we make that a little bit bigger? Let's see if we can.
Ooh.
Can we, Shy? There we go. That's as big as we can get it. Is that from the same batch?
That was the winner of best quality in a heated pond.
Oh, yeah, that is nice.
Now is that heat on heat, or was that the one unheated?
On heat.
On
Heated.
And what did he get? What did he get overall growth on that one in
I
heat?
can't remember off the top of my head. I just wanted to
I know
show.
you said that was 15 cm that was put on the fish with unheated.
Yeah, this is this is
10 cm more than me and Aaron.
there's
Mad.
there's more info to come on it. I've not got all the details to hand.
That is mint.
I wanted to share the picture because, to be fair, mate, when that dropped in, yeah, I had a Spider-Man moment because it was really good to see what someone has done with one of the fish that I supplied. You know, because it was head and tails above everyone.
Head and tails.
Credit where credit's due. That is a banging fish, isn't it?
You know, the skin quality in that fish is exceptional. The body, the mass, the Benny plate, the kiwa, you know.
Be nice to see that at a show this year.
Speaking to the person, Mike, that it's Mike from Chasing Koi that won it, just so people know. He said when he picked this fish, it had a knock on its gill plate, I think he said. and people ignored it simply because there was a mark on a gill. And he looked past that because obviously he realised that koi heal. And that's what he got. And it was clearly the best return from the fish that was sold. And I say return because not everyone returned. So out of everything that was returned, that fish, I don't think anybody here on this channel can say that fish is not fucking quality, because it oozes quality.
Beautiful, isn't it? But
I did actually find my fish
he makes is
crafty.
mad, though, isn't it?
Oh, he's done wonders, mate. It's like, you know, the credit's down to him, isn't it? Yeah, the fish was supplied, but my God, what a return. Like within a year, that is exceptional.
Mint.
The Roji quality is fucking insane.
Mm.
You know, what a banging fish.
Nice.
So well done again. I ain't bigging it up because it come from me. I think if that was dropped in front of any of us, irrespective of where it come from, we'd all agree that fish is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
100%. Everybody's telling me I've missed more fish off, so I'm going to refresh it again and we'll double check and see. 32 comments. We have got some more. We've got a question to go back to there as well. So we'll have a check. Sally's there. We've got in this one, not this one, being Yamatinishki.
Benny Kikuru.
Benny Kikuru.
We're focusing on the wrong fish, but this is a previous video that she's used before since she just resubmitted.
That's close to being a Benny Kamomru as well, isn't it? I don't know.
There's a lot of white on it. I mean, do they lose colour as they get bigger, the Yamatanishki?
But the big ones, I reckon that could be the way the black's sitting around the red light. It's almost like a Benny Kamomru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's coming from us, it could be a Benny Kamomru across the Sankey, which has been known.
And Aaron's banged one in. There we go.
Oh, new winner.
There we go. Now, do we know the breeder of this one?
It's obviously a top quality farm.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah. It looks to me.
Shinoda didn't send this one in, Rick.
Hey,
Shinoda didn't send this one, mate.
you know, that's beautiful, mate. You can't knock that. The tomorrow one beats that, but that's still not bad.
That's a banging fish, mate.
Nice
Nice.
fish, mate. And this one is the second one from. I've forgotten where he got this one from, Aaron, but I know it's from Wakefield Koi, but the breeder I forgot.
Yeah, nice.
It's pretty Deutsch Sankey.
Yeah, pretty.
I'd rather have my other one back.
Oh, yeah.
That's nice. Still not as nice as the tomorrow one. I can't win by cheating. I can't win by sending loads in, can I? I just can't win. Looking good, Aaron. You're doing all right, mate. I'll let you off.
All that colour food that he's going to put into it this year.
Mm.
Oh, we've got more. Hang on. We can't have a winner yet.
Oh, that's the winner.
No chance. No, I can't deal with it. It's beautiful. I can't deal with them fins, mate.
Yeah, I was about to say the fins are not.
Oh, yeah.
But again, that's not assassinating. It's still a fucking nice looking fish.
It is a nice fish, mate. It's beautiful. This like a solid male.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Got good power in it all the way through.
Hiroi. Not that one. Darren's one.
The Deutsch one. Yeah. No, that's a beautiful Sankey, but yeah, just those being mellow with the big pecs and then having that sort of curve to the pecs.
A demerit. A minor demerit.
Well, it would be up there as a winner if it wasn't for that Tamura one we saw a minute ago, which was just. Oh, hang on. Oh, that's nice.
That's a nice one.
That's pretty.
That size. 46M.
Very
That's it.
pretty.
Body. Get body on it, Si.
Look at that. That's nice, that.
Whose is that?
Si Ellis.
Si, Ellis, up North Koi Pond.
He buys some nice fish, doesn't he?
Mm.
You have to watch it on catch up, Simon.
Pretty.
Oh,
It's still not as good as that tomorrow one, mate, for me.
Don't eat it. Nice again.
It is.
It's weird, isn't it? This is nice fish. There's nothing wrong with it, but it just doesn't.
Float your boat.
There's something weird with them, isn't there? Somehow they. I think it's because of the simple 3-step pattern.
Yeah.
All the seam is pretty much up on the red. It just.
I think sometimes they can have too much Benny on the head, can't they?
Totally right.
That one that you got, Daz, was a nice anchor. That last one that you picked up.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I think that fish there will look good in like 3 or 4 years, a long time when it's just proper size.
A bowl full. Somebody else's
showers.
Bowl full of showers.
They're good.
Nice showers, mate.
They're good.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, but if anybody wants to pick a koi for next week, let's go with a new type for everybody else. Anybody wants to put the most type that we get typed in from the comments will as for being next week's fish. Michael,
there's loads of. I thought you said there was no Sankers. There's bloody loads of them.
Oh, they've all been posted, haven't they? I just refreshed it and now they're all there. It's just been sat there.
That one's bent.
It's not. It's funny.
No.
It's actually quite a good shape for a Deutz on that.
Mm.
Sarah Deakin.
Mm.
That's quite nice as well, isn't it?
Nice.
For all those people that are filming, next time, do it that way. Then we get to see more of the fish. We're not taking pictures of the grandkids. We're exhibiting fish that way. Oh, you can all see them.
That's good quality. That
That's nice.
Nice big
like
shoulders
that,
on it
nice
as
that.
well.
nice female.
Yeah.
That's a good body. I think.
Yeah.
Chunky fish and all, isn't it?
Whose fish is that?
Nice matching whatever it is in the pectorals. I was going to say Motoguru, but it's not. Tajime.
Just got one finger each, like, isn't it?
Mm.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Nice, that.
Whose fish is that?
That one is Stephen Wills.
Stephen Wills.
Stephen Wills. Stephen Wills, whichever. However. Oh, that's the last one. That is the last one.
Put that on again, please.
That last one.
Yeah.
Would you like to see it moving around the bowl?
No.
Let's get it straight then. Oh, pause, you bastard.
It's weird. It looks like it should be a really big fish, but it's not that big, is it? But it's got the way it just looks like a big fish.
Yeah.
It's about 45 cm, isn't it, by the look of it?
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. Kahaku for Dave.
Can
Let's
we?
see what we've got. So far, we've got Kahaku, we've got Beko, we've got Chagoy. Right, so Kahaku's winning at present. I like that. That's nice.
Rocket Boy's got his off of Koi Wholesale's turned up. Get that one on there. Fair play. He won a free fish.
Sweet.
Stop it there. Oh. It's all right. Don't worry, mate.
What are you wanting to see?
I want to see it head down rather than head up. Yeah, cool. So one thing that people don't look for is eye alignment in a skull. and sometimes a pattern can throw that line off, and that's why I needed to see that on a still, because I weren't sure if that was just slightly out, and it's a deformity. So when you're looking at when you're looking for a good quality koi, them two eyes really need to follow a line, so they're parallel to each other. If they're slightly out, as that fish grows, that really does show. But sometimes a pattern can throw it out, as that one does when it's moving. But yeah, that fish takes number one spot for me.
Does it? Not for me. I'm disagreeing.
So you're going number one with that one, and Rick's saying, "Oh, shite."
I like the tomorrow one.
Oh, did I see this one? I didn't see this.
The body that is just.
That's
Right.
number one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Okay,
That's
so
banging that one. Okay, something different for next week only thing.
all right. So
There will be none of.
the body on that fish is to die for. The belly plate is to die for. If we put the two together, this fish lacks sumi in the first half or first third of the fish, and that's what it comes down to when you're judging two koi. I'll be perfectly straight. It lacks sumi on the front third.
I'm not judging him, mate. I'm just talking about the best fish. That's the best fish.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the whole thing. So
Yeah.
for me, because there's lack of sumi there, it feels it ticks the boxes. For me,
Split decision.
that's how I look at it.
I mean, we got four
Well,
judges.
fingers
A fish
crossed.
for the future with more sumi development, that's going to be fucking banging.
Yeah. Somebody just said they posted a fish, so refresh. And I think it was Jason says, posted the picture of my kahaku from the event unheated. This is the one that grew 15 cm then. Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Where did you post it, mate? Oh, there it is.
On Crafty site.
That's
Oh,
it.
damn.
Mhm. Okay, one thing here that this fish lacks is head pattern.
It's not in my pond. That's what it lacks.
But it lacks head pattern for a kahaku. Pattern fish needs to have a head pattern. It lacks it. Still a fucking good fish though.
Yeah.
Body's
if you
immense.
look
Was
at
it,
technicality.
Jason, was it 15 cm you put on it, mate? Was I right in saying that?
I think it was 11 or 15 cm, guys. I can't remember off the top of my head, mate.
That's not bad because we didn't pick them up till like end of the summer almost, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
There was no growing season
Halloween.
for the unheated people.
No real growing season, yeah.
You take it and see.
Alan's backing me. I never thought I'd see the day.
You can fucking hush up.
Oh, that's pretty damn nice. That.
It is nice.
That is immense, but well, there is no buts. It's beautiful, but it's a lot smaller, isn't it? It's not got the body. Another year,
Yeah.
Simon, feed it on for a year.
I love this. It always gets so many differences of opinions. So, what we got then? Hang about. I got some homework set. Something different for next week. Only thing, there will be all of none. Sunko gas. This is your next homework. Shite. Well, this is going to be something else really difficult for me to. Mr. Tate, more homework that I don't understand again.
He's good at that homework, mate.
He is. And there you go. You've just been approved, whoever that was. There could be another one. Right. Anybody else got any topics they would like to discuss and have a natter and a chat about this evening? Because that is the end of the Sankey appreciation. Old picture that was, by the way, size put there. So it looks even better now. Sweet. I liked. Wasn't the Pearl scale.
Yeah, that's
Sankey.
nice.
Well, that's Sankey as well. I like that, mate. That one mint, that fish.
Hang on, we need to revote. My bowler fish is a good one in the bottom left corner at 7 seconds.
Are you fucking still on about that?
No.
7 seconds in, fish in the
7
bottom
seconds
left
is too
corner
many.
of a round bowl.
Less is more.
More or less.
In the bottom left corner of a round bowl.
Was joking, but it's fine. I'll let you all off. And it's not round anyway.
Oh, okay. Crafty, has your website not got any fish on it? No, not a lot. There's a reason for that, mate.
Which one, Rick?
We're
I
about
was joking. I don't know, mate. I was only...
So it was a round bowl, see?
I don't know. One of them must be all right.
They're all right. I'll have that one there.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
Look at
there's
this one. That's got a win. It's got a loving heart on its head. There we go.
I'll take
I like
third
the orange
prize.
and white one.
Take third place. I like one with a massive mouth. The size of
I'll have
gut on
third
that one.
prize.
Thank you, Cal. Will you sort me tablets for me, please? Yeah.
Just missed out. Can I get your thoughts on my Sanka?
It's lovely.
Have you posted it, mate? Or have I just showed it? Which one was just right? If you remember, you can post it in the Facebook group, and we'll give you his opinion on it. Don't be upset with us because Crafty can be savage.
Horrible bastard.
Cricket bat. Jason, that's nice, that fish, mate. Well done, bud. That's some serious growth, that unheated. Was that on Sakai, Akari, where you're feeding the big buck stuff to get the growth? Or what was you feeding, if you don't mind me asking, mate?
Yeah, that's what we need to know.
Yeah, we do. So,
How unheated was it? Was it secretly a little bit heated?
I'm bad from Facebook, Dino. I wonder why. What's that, mate?
The answer is yes, there's still fish on there, but be prepared because we're about to drop a huge amount of stock on there.
Is this Crafty taking his multivitamins because he's not had so much to eat this evening?
Well, he's got food. He's just declined it at the moment. So
Fucking shit, that's why.
Declined it.
No, I'm only joking,
Get a
guys.
whack.
Try. You know the pan that you prepared his food in. Just come back in with it.
It'll be a cricket bat. No, I'm only jesting. I love my missus. Her food's not good though.
There was a question on the Facebook thing. You said we'll go back to it.
Oh, you're right. There was, mate.
Not that I'm admin or anything.
My choice remains, mate. I still preferred your fish as I've seen it.
That's true. I'm
What
not
about
a
this?
gentleman.
You missed this question earlier on, Crafty. Chris Henton asking for a friend. What can be done to improve Sumi and make a Shuru Suri grow whopping within a year unheated? And Chris Henton, just in case you didn't know, was part of the grow. And he was there last Sunday.
Oh.
So he's asking, right, question. I'm in the grow and show with a difference, Rick. I'm in the grow and show with a difference. Never had koi fry before. I've been priming my filters on the main pond for the fry tanks, which is the right thing to do in preparation. Is preparing my filters a bad idea, or should I go with a sterile? If so, remove the filters from the main pond, run a PP, and then tap water through the fry system. What would remove the nasties and do the job? I.e., should he go with a mature filter system set up that is already used from a main source, or should he go in with a fresh, clean slate?
Right. It depends on the amount of water.
I'm happy with this question
Oh,
because somebody asked me and I don't know the answer.
all right. Good. So the first thing I would suggest is how big is the body of water the fry going into? Because obviously, if it's a fish tank, you're going to need a mature or maturer filter. If it's a decent size amount of water, then you'll get away with a sterile filter. So we'd always recommend sterile for the fact that you can't, if the fish are coming without any issues and they're in a sterile environment, you're not going to have any issues health-wise. But if you put them in a small environment and you've got, a filter that's not doing it, you're going to struggle with water quality. So it's swings and roundabouts. We'd always recommend starting a fresh, if you can sterilize the filtration, have no fish in the setup, and you know that you're starting, there is no health issues in that environment, then those fry cannot have any health issues, because if they're not coming with any and there's none there, they just can't materialize out of nowhere. But then you just got the water quality problem. So the volume is kind of key. If you're talking about 50 gallons of water, you're going to struggle water quality wise. If you've got 1,000 gallons of water, then start sterile, because the fry are going to produce so little waste, it will all mature up as the fish grow.
Can I? Right. So.
Yes. No.
Right. So, I mean, it's probably not an exact answer to this, but how when ammonia starts hitting, we can like bigger koi can have got more ability to deal with a rise in ammonia level in a pond, and we have to measure to certain parameters. Do them parameters still stay for fry, or
even more so, mate?
Really? So they're more tolerant?
No, they're not more tolerant. But the fact is, the 200 fry we're sending on this little event are going to weigh grams, 50 grams in total, or whatever. It is minuscule, and the amount of them, and if they're on live foods and whatever, as they should be to start with, the amount of ammonia they produce is so negligible that you can start with a fresh system, and by the time they produce enough ammonia, your system's maturing in tandem. It's all working lovely.
Okay.
If you try and do it in a 3-foot fish tank,
that's the bit I'm getting at.
Yeah, see, this is where the issues arise. So someone like Tony at Farm or Koi, he grows them amazing in little tanks, but he'll start with semi-mature systems that he's had no fish in. So you can see there's different ways of doing it. So you can seed your systems with ammonia without fish in there.
Yeah.
Or you can run them with fish in there, take the fish out and have it run in fallow for enough of a period. There's enough bacteria still alive filtration-wise, but there's no health issues. So you've got
that was my advice there. My thought process was.
The problem is this. Yeah.
Go on. That's the bit. Go on. The problem.
Well, the problem is there's something like white spot will survive a long time without fish in there.
Right.
Which is unlikely. And if you did have it, you could still deal with it on the fry. By the time it's a problem, you can deal with it. But flukes will probably survive 3 weeks without fish in there. So you've got a time scale, which is why we don't run filters on the fry generally on the farm. We do with some of ours, but we don't on stuff we're selling from the hatchery. So we know
that they're clean. There's
no overlapping and whatever with potential issues or whatever. So there isn't a perfect answer. There is options. So depending on the size, it's such a small amount and such a light stock density people are receiving that generally it's not an issue. You can start a brand new filter with brand new water and not have any problems. But if you're putting them into a really small environment and foregoing the live food for the dust food, which is going to produce a lot more waste, then you will have ammonia.
You can start with your problems there, Marcel.
So the main thing to do is water changes in a smaller tank.
If you've got a smaller tank, water changes, or if you can seed the filter with urea to get the ammonia to create an fish in there. There's ways of doing everything.
There we go. There's ways around both ways.
Apparently you put a sausage in there, but not my sausage.
We did say we'd have a quick look at this. And this is Jess Rye's Sanker.
That's nice.
Very pretty.
Nice.
No,
mate, that'll be challenging for top awards in our show, mate.
Yeah.
That is good.
A little bit of Coochie Benny as well.
Little Coochie.
That's nice, that, isn't it?
That is
I think
fucking
that could be top trumps in it. If no, it's
Yeah.
too late.
Could that take top trumps? Has he just robbed everybody?
No,
late
'cause it's
entry.
late, mate. You can't have a late entry. Like
Team
that.
him. Hang about. There's always
It
somebody
takes,
that does a
it
late
takes
entry.
best Deutsch, that's the sure fact.
That is good.
That's not Deutsch.
That is.
That's not Deutsch.
On my
Yes.
screen, it looks
Is that
Deutsch.
Deutsch? It looks Deutsch.
It
This
looks
Deutsch.
Deutsch to me.
I've had too many beers if that's Deutsch. I've barely had 10, so it can't be.
That looks really Deutsch to me.
It's not Deutsch.
Oh, there you go.
Come
You've
on.
got a better fucking picture than I have. That
That
looks
does
good.
look. It's clean. Is that then? Isn't it? That is
Yeah.
very
That's how good it is.
banging
Yeah.
that, mate. Very
If
nice.
that was in time, you could have been a winner. But
No, that's a winner. That's a winner.
Now then, Mr. Tate, does that beat it? Is that the top fish?
he's not even a judge on this panel.
No, I know, but we're just going for a professional opinion.
He's not even a judge anyway.
I wouldn't listen to me or Crafty. Jesus.
He's not a fucking judge anyway.
And Daz is asleep, so he's definitely not doing it.
I've forfeited.
He
Very
was
nice.
like that kid at school, wasn't he? And it's like, I'm not asleep.
At the back of the classroom.
Now all you need to do is work on your entry times, and then you'd have been.
Yeah, you miss benching.
Yeah, you miss benching. You just got to walk around a fish in a bag.
No late entries.
In a bag all day. No late entries, Mr. Tate says. Oh,
You're disqualified.
well, that is the last question that we had. I don't think there were any others in there as well, like, but let me double check, make sure. I don't think there was anything else.
I'm going to take the opportunity then while you're looking, just to say thank you to everyone that attended the event at the weekend.
Oh, banging, mate.
It was. Really enjoyed it.
I mean, I missed earlier on in the show, so if anything's been mentioned, I apologise. If it hasn't, then fucking shame on you. But I just want to say thank you to everyone that attended, whether you took part or you didn't, but just attending was good enough. I've had a huge amount of positive feedback, both on posts and personally. And outsiders looking in said, although it was pissing it down with rain, there wasn't a miserable looking face anywhere.
No.
Except Rick's. But
yeah, just
I
cause.
think that actually that speaks volumes that we was all stood there
In the pissing rain.
in the pissing rain. But it's better to be outside than what it is inside, especially at my place because the light's fucking abysmal.
Honestly, mate, I don't think the weather made an ounce of difference apart from those lousy bastards that put my head up while I was stood there. And it was wet through.
Yeah, who did that, Gaz?
Run down back of my neck. Other than that, mate, there wasn't a single. It was mint, mate. Good laugh. Everybody were chatting, conversation were flowing. Everybody were having a bit of banter. It were belting.
Yeah.
To be fair, mate, the fish look good. So that's the bonus, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we're going to just learn how to grab them.
I appreciate it, and I've had a lot of positive feedback. And if anything, I don't think there was anything to even other than the water, i.e., standing in it for the majority of it. I think it went extremely well, and I want to thank you all for coming in and being positive as well. It's great.
Yeah, thanks
It's
for
nice to be
inviting me,
part of
mate.
it.
Come
Just
back
can't wait
next
to
time
win
and
it
win.
next year.
I've even sold a few more after the YouTube videos went out of people that have come to pick from what wasn't chosen.
That's why I showed him at the end of the video, mate, what were left in the bowl. Because me and Mr. Tate were stood there and said, "There's still some beautiful fish in here."
Yeah.
Mr. Tate.
It wasn't.
Mr. Tate.
You can tell he's had a beer.
Mr. Tate, just call Mr. Tate. Be respectful as an older gentleman. That's why I call you Mr. Rick.
Is that right? Even my son don't call me that.
That's not what they call you guys.
No, I'm very much doubt as many person calls me by
Yeah,
anything else.
we've moved 4 on after that. A bloke come down today, and a bloke took a couple yesterday as well.
No late entries, I'm afraid.
And somebody bought one and then asked me to pick and post. So, you know, there's
Is
still
Lee
some-
upset with the ones we chose?
he hasn't seen them yet.
He's
He's
just
asked-
coming
he's
back to
asked
Japan
me to
seeing all
come
those
pick
fish, and we've gone, oh, look at that speckledy one.
Not what he's got at all. Don't mind.
2 and a bit hours ago, him and Ryan just got landed in London. We just got back into London, so
Yeah, I got a message to say that they've touched down.
did I tell you the mosquito were worn out.
Someone spotted it.
They picked some nice Kahaka at Matsoy, don't they?
Yeah, they're coming my way.
Yeah, I mean, all I was doing was picking my fish, mate. If you listened in the background, he said he was educating me.
They hide the sausage.
Yes. But to be fair, actually, you could ask people when they put the results back in Grafty to ask what their hardness in their water's like. What the
Yeah,
temperatures,
that's the whole thing. It's
silica levels and their clays were like when they did them.
when it comes back, when the thought process behind this is the development, but also we have people from Blackburn, from Manchester, from down on the south coast, from people in Wales, obviously Lee being one of those as well. We've had people from all over the country take part. So when it comes back to the development, I want to know what the water parameters are, what their routine was for how they keep their fish as well, like to see whether or not we see better results in different parts of the country. You know, when we can actually marry up water types or softness or hardness, just to see the difference in development.
That's what you want to do, mate. Anywhere learning, bit of water chemistry.
And totally, and that's part of the bigger picture. But I can only do that if the results come back with the information on it, which is what this event is about. I'm also looking at hoping that those people will then continue to share them over 2, 3, 4 years, keeping it going, so we can have as many fish as was sold year on year to actually see the development of every single one of them.
Maybe more. When we start breeding mine and he starts breeding his, you'll have millions of the fuckers.
Yeah, I want first dibs on that.
First dibs, no chance.
Aaron just asked there, do you think PP and tap water reset will reset the filter?
Yeah, no, it'll knock it back, but it won't. Yeah, if you take it off the fish now, we're not shipping the fish till the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. 5 days to get 100 boxes out.
We've got some shit to do.
Fucking hell.
We gotta get busy, man, quick. Life around the koi pond has said, hello guys, since I salted my pond, I've had a bit of a nightmare with fines. Algae is trying to grow but dying and overwhelming the filters. Yorkshire Koi just said, life around the koi pond, use moss to combat algae.
Moss?
I think you might find blanket answer will be a more successful thing for combating algae. So,
I don't know what that moss thing's all about. So that's
moss balls.
if I was to advise you, life around moss, don't bother looking into that because it doesn't really sound feasible at all.
I don't know how it sounds feasible.
If there is another good product on, which is black algae, which is dying off. Right, so you got that black algae, which is dying off. Hit the button, guys. Yeah, that definitely needed the button whacking on, mate. I've heard some bullshit before today, but that one just probably tipped it.
But we don't
if it's
know.
the black algae that's peeling off the side of your ponds, that's a nightmare, mate. Best way is to gently brush it off and filter it out as best you can.
or net as much
Yeah,
out.
you get those like strand finds when the blankweed sort of grows and dies, and then those little bits.
Oh, no, he's meaning,
smaller
you know, when
filter.
if you see it on the side of your pond, because
Yeah.
a lot of people had it not last year, maybe year before.
It's like the skin on a
where they were
rice
getting
pudding,
great
isn't it?
big
It's just
patches peeling off at the side of
peels
the
off.
pond where the algae had all died back.
But,
And
but it was,
air bubbles get under it and lift it up as well. And
yeah, but people created more of an issue for themselves than necessary by scrubbing the fucker off. Leave it on there; it's not hurting nothing
Till it peels off.
till it peels
And
off.
then
It'll
then
peel
clogs
off.
the filter.
It won't be constantly peeling off. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Just small amounts.
I'm playing with some stuff at the minute that seems to be killing any type of chained algae, and it shouldn't, but it is. And I might let everyone if it works. Yeah, it's a product.
Sulfuric acid.
It's a safe product to fish. It's a totally safe. It's basically just something you dig out of the ground and grind up. But I put it in just to harden the water up a bit, and it seems to be
by any chance.
not just chalk, no. But
Chalk.
No, it's not chalk.
Chalk.
It's a type of chalk, but it's not chalk.
Nitro chalk.
But it seems to be killing every chained algae in existence.
Is it lime?
No, we do use like lime, but it's not lime.
Oh,
Always got his little face thing.
oh,
I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, all right then.
Rick's obviously going to be marketing this because he's been very.
I'm not
poor
going
at
to no, it's nothing to do with that. It's literally I don't want to turn around and say it's such and such and find out it just so happened in these ponds it worked because it might not. And then I look a right twat when everyone buys it, chucks in the pond, and
it kills all the fish.
Yeah, well, it's fish safe. I'm using it with I'm using it with all sorts at the minute, but it's had a reaction I wasn't expecting. Yeah.
Rick's using Vince's socks.
He does leave a spare pair, and I do dip him in the pond just to wind him up.
That was a good
Yeah.
one.
No, it's one of those weird. It's just a weird thing. I'm using it for one reason, and it seems to be having a different reaction with someone else. But I can't say anything about it because it might just be one of those things. But if I use it for the season and it works, then
Yeah.
I tell everyone what it is because it save people loads of money.
Yeah.
Salting your ponds, salting your fry ponds before you go in with fry, Rick.
Hang on, I've just PP'd the grow on tank, and I'll see this again. What do I need to salt? We don't recommend any salt at all. To be fair, they're coming out of unsalted, straight out of the hatchery. The salt and fry thing comes from. It sounds like fish and chips, doesn't it? Salt and fry. The bigger fry when someone like us, Cuttlebrook, Adam sell bigger fry, they're coming from ponds, they're being harvested, sorted out, messed about with, and they tend to struggle with bacterial problems. If you have the salt up at 0.6, 0.7, they tend to settle in much better. You have less issues. The young ones coming out of the hatchery, no salt. Just literally, they're coming out of fresh water. We're going to give people the pH, hardness, everything of the water they're coming from. So if people really worry about that, but we don't worry too much because we're moving from the hatchery to the fry ponds, which are completely different. So we don't worry. But if you want to worry, we'll give you the details of what they're coming in and what they're in terms of all the parameters.
Life Around said it's constantly dying from the salt content. What level of salt content have you got in your pond? Because I used to keep mine all the time at 0.3 and never had algae dying off.
Yeah, 0.6, 0.7 knocks a lot of the out, knocks it back quite badly.
And how long have you had it salted at that content for? Because I know this is like 4 or 5 weeks ago since you came in saying you were going to salt your pond for some bacterial issues that you were having.
Better that than bacterial issues.
No, just meaning are the fish right now as the bacterial issue cleaned up? Have you got your fish back on course? Do you need the salt in? Can you remove it?
Then the algae will grow again.
Well, the algae wants to be there to a certain degree, doesn't it? It's a part of your biofilm.
Big biofilm. Yeah. It is, yeah. I was just one of them. You're forever fighting something in a pond, aren't you?
Yeah.
Or not.
Or not, yeah.
Get the balance and just live with it.
Mine's got blanket weed from
Oh, not Daz again.
How dare you?
He is like a blanket weed dispensing machine.
How very dare I, Daz? I shall
me.
such it is on the plants, my lilies. It's going out the basket.
Obviously, you didn't quarantine the plants sufficiently.
I didn't, Daz. I just put them in and thought, shit to it. You know what? At the end of the day, it's just a bit of blanket weed, and but I wanted to put no in because it has been like, PP, then treatment, so and all the rest of it that I've done. I've left it, giving them a little bit of a breather on it. But I am too having the same sort of problem life around. I've got blanket weed. It's only small little bits, strangly bits about this length max now, but it's breaking off in little bits and then it's clogging up in filler a little bit. So mine is getting some. And this time I'm going to go with some advice from Humbercoy, as his dad or grandpa used, as in Leo's grandpa, used a different product and he's had real good results with it. And you only have to use half the amount that you would do for blanket answer. So I'm going to give that one a go. And I can't remember for the life of me the name of the product. I've forgotten it. Aaron, if you're still there, type it in.
White vinegar. Just pour some white vinegar in that sort out.
Yeah, and then my pH will go 2.
Yes. But yeah, blanket weed tends to like growing off plants. It's one of those. We have to take every plant thing out of our fry ponds.
Yeah.
To do with plants. Hanging in plants, roots, everything, every little bit.
It might have been resolved. It might have been resolved, mate.
Resolve, that's a herbicide, isn't it? Oh,
what's that? Resolve. That's
algicide.
Blanket resolve.
Blanket resolve. I say resolve is a weed killer. Don't put that in.
I don't think they don't even sell it anymore, do they? Where are you getting it from?
Shop. Amazon.
Well, I've just seen I'm also feeding Saki Akari multi-season to reduce the fines.
I don't know. They're talking about blanket weed breaking off, I believe. Cool.
Aqua Resolve.
I'm going to say normal resolve is, I think it's Roundup based.
Like phosphates kill most stuff.
Yeah, Aqua Resolve, I think it is. Am I right, Aaron? No, Aaron's in bed. I've already answered.
Aaron's in bed. He's not.
Aaron's in bed. They went early and so did Aaron.
Yes. Just find out what's in it, because you might find that is it safe with other plants?
Well, worst case scenario, lilies will die, won't it? I mean,
fair enough.
Well, if they do, don't they? I'd rather that than not have 10 tons of blank. I don't want to be doing. I don't want to be doing a dad. You should have seen him over there. We're down on Sunday morning.
Literally like 6 foot length of rope. I was pulling in.
They were pulling on it like this, and I go, "What are you doing, Dad?" So I'm just servicing pump. I'm thinking, hell, I think that's
your water must be well hard.
Massive lump on floor.
It is.
Yeah.
It was boot deep.
It's absolutely full of lime. Our water is.
Yeah. If you don't like the lilies, guys, you could just take the lilies out and the blanket we won't grow anymore.
Was it that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Aqua Resolve.
Mm.
You got massive tubs of it.
Yeah, we sell it in store, but I don't know what was being said because I was having a dump.
Yeah, I think I need a lorry load.
Oh, we all know why it grows, mate. We just don't want it growing.
Trouble, isn't it? Product that reduces phosphates.
Hang about. They seem to be at odds with anaerobic bacteria.
Aerobic.
Where do you come in with just a random statement?
Yeah.
Who's there?
Maybe resolve.
They seem to be at odds with aerobic bacteria.
Could be the blanket we find. This is the trouble with the delays.
Ask me one again on quantum physics. I might be able to answer it. I doubt it, but
I think that man has got some good knowledge. We just need to.
We do. We need this gentleman to contact me personally, direct. Do you actually, or can you actually speak English, or do you always use
he uses a translator.
Google Translate?
However, some knowledge is good.
If he translates that way and that way, then Jesus, it's like talking to Lee, then, isn't it?
That's where some of his statements can be broken down and come across the wrong way, because the translation doesn't do a good job sometimes.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah,
but he's right.
However,
the whole balance of things is a balance.
However, his view on koi shows is bollocks. Just saying.
yeah. There has been a couple where you think, yeah.
There is different. That's the whole point of the koi keeping, isn't it? Different ways of keeping them. Some people want to go natural. Some people don't. Some people want to do stuff.
Alan says, what's the point of putting in a question when it's not answered? None.
What's the question?
Obviously, I've missed one, but as I've stated numerous times, if you want me to answer a question, you want me to bring it up, type it out in capital letters, then it'll stand out from the other 1,452 messages that are posted per evening, which is pretty difficult to keep up with. You should try it sometime. I guarantee you will struggle. It's not easy. I can't read every single comment and hold a conversation and have an opinion and talk and chat and show fish and answer everybody's question, Alan. It would have been far easier if you just typed the question in again, and then I would have read it.
Yes, what sort of man are you?
A good one, but just not brilliant. Practically perfect, apparently.
I can't see a question, Alan. I'm looking at the comments and I can't see one.
Modest with it.
I missed one, obviously. Aquasauce Resolve. There we go. It is that is the one. Aquasauce Resolve. Apparently, that stuff is supposed to be banging. No, tried barley. You know how much barley you actually have to put in to a pond to reduce blanket answer or blanket weed, should I say? Because you literally
12 metric tons for my pond.
A bale of it, and then your fish have got no. And that's why it gets rid of it so quickly in a koi pond, because you put a whole huge bale in there, and then your fish have got no fucking room to swim around.
It pushes all the water out,
and then all the nutrients that the blanket weed was feeding upon dies off, and then you get rid of your blanket answer.
People add it too late anyway. It's supposed to be a preventative to allow it to rot before your blanket weed problem kicks off. Yeah. And it's fucking expensive.
It is, man. Yeah.
Well, I've had good results with barley straw extract, which is still, I've only managed, I stock it from NT Labs, which is the only place I can get it now. But I've had good results with that. And it's a lot tamer on the fish than what the likes of blanket answer and that is as well.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Assume he's the type of fella when you see your face is to offer you a cheese butter. Oh, dear me.
Alan, I've just looked up the comments from some time back. I can't see a question, mate.
Hang about. I'll go back through them all. I'll find it.
I've gone back way before even when Alan Tate come on, mate. So it'd just be easier to retype it.
Yeah, I mean,
it might not be his question.
He's more than one Alan.
It might be someone else's question, and he's saying, "Why have you not answered that question?" Got to think outside.
What about G4 concrete tank sealant?
There we go.
Right. What about it?
That's
what about it?
Right back. Cool. Good stuff, mate. So we're going liners and fiberglass and all the rest of it. G4 is brilliant as long as you've got a solid concrete that's not going to crack. It's good stuff. We've used it for years.
I've never used it.
I've heard of G3, but not G4.
No, G4 is good stuff. But the problem is you've got our issues. Our blockwork always cracks. Thus we leak. It's got to be. It's just a sealant you paint on the blockwork. And it is a sealant. It does seal it. It makes it watertight. So yes, it's actually a very cheap way of waterproofing a concrete pond.
What does that say? Oh, that's bacon. That emoji looks crap on that screen, but one is put it in there. Bacon, a bacon. I prefer a bacon butter. Bacon, cheese, and egg, red sauce. Banging.
No, G4. Pet your gums with G4.
There's no need to have fiberglass, in, is there? If you can use G4.
If you can make a pond, we use it in smaller ponds where you know that you're not going to get any ground movement and no cracking. G4 is fine, good stuff.
We sell it. I've never used it.
You literally you get a 5 litre tin of the stuff, just paint it on, and you're watertight. But if
Just like bitumen kind of stuff.
If anything moves, you get the slightest crack in it, you're leaking.
If you want to improve the total balance of your pond, you should make their swimming behaviour better.
Again, it's a translation.
He's on the old bacon again.
Should encourage your koi to do breaststroke as opposed to butterfly, because they get longer pectoral things doing butterfly stroke.
He's not wrong, though. At the end of the day, the better the environment you give them, the happier they are, aren't they?
That's a pretty obvious statement, though, isn't it, really?
Well, you think so, but that's not how a lot of people keep fish.
Atsumi. Define, Atsumi, define, or sorry, Atsumi. Define swimming behaviour. Define it. What do you mean by swimming behaviour?
Actually, Atsumi, can you play us what comes through your end from us lot talking about bollocks in Japanese, if it's really being translated? Because that must be mental.
What impresses me more than anything is the fact that he's up at 3 o'clock in the morning to take part of my live show.
That's dedication.
He lives in Slough.
He lives in Slough.
Nothing wrong with Slough, mate.
Perhaps it's just insomniac.
I'm sure he just literally sometimes though. It's like that. Like swimming behaviour leads to everything. So nobody has a test kit. I think he just has random phrases, koi-related phrases, and reads them out each evening.
of cards.
Yeah, it's like card trumps, isn't it? Koi trumps.
Just mix them all up.
To be fair, what he's saying is right.
It is.
In Japan, you don't need a test kit because the way the fish behave tells you what's wrong with the fish.
And that
I understand what he's saying.
Yeah,
but the way it comes out is
it's lost in translation. Yeah, but yeah, people
really, Gary,
most of us do monitor our fish behaviour at Zoomy. You know, but it takes a level of experience to understand that.
Some of it I agree with, though. But what he's saying here is to train them to think of only food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but could you imagine us on a Japanese talk show at night trying to translate into that?
To train them to think of only food.
What he's
saying is the competitiveness in order to get the feed going. Right. So as soon as you put 3 pellets in and there's 100 fish, they'll all pretend to be fucking eating, hoping that one falls in the mouth. Right, and that's what you need to try and get. I'm assuming that's the way that I see what he's saying there.
Atsume, do me a huge favor, please. I'm going to send you a link. And in this link, I want you to join it. And then I want you to post a picture of your pond and your koi when you join this group.
He might not have any.
Exactly.
He doesn't need any to join the group. I think it gives us enough information, and most of what he said.
Do me a favor, join that group there at Sume, and become a member and share us the knowledge that you've got and the experience that you're gaining and where you're gaining it from. Because I think you either work in the industry or you are a very good koi keeper yourself. And I would like to see what you do and what you've got and how you do it yourself. So share what you've got in that group, fish, pond, environment where you work, whatever it is that you do, if that makes sense.
Crafty, have you ever read that magazine, like the koi show one in Japan? It's all the photos of the koi shows, and then halfway through it, there's like a cartoon of a little girl and a little boy.
Yes, I have seen it. Yeah,
that fish is blowing bubbles. Feed it more; it will be friendly.
Yep.
Oh, it has white spot.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember what the magazine's called. Is it? No, it could be Rinko. No, is it
Ringo?
Rinko?
Rinko.
Rinko. Yeah.
Rinko mag.
Yeah. But some of the information is amazing in it, but the way it's portrayed is just.
But that's exactly how the Japanese. That is exactly how the Japanese do like their translation. The way that they talk and the way their learning processes are, it's nothing like how we communicate. It's nothing like.
His pond's gone 8 years ago. Don't mock him for trying to resolve a problem he was having at the time. Yorkshire Koi, I understand what you was going through, mate. Who's mocking who?
The Moss.
Oh, if you've got old footage, Yatsumi, man, that's even better.
It's still nice to see what your pond was like and what fish you did have.
Turns out he's Matt Sanoski. He just gave up the farm and he knows
everything. It's Shigeru. That's who it is, mate, really. Under an Alice. This is where
I think
thank you, mate. Appreciate that.
We laugh at some of this translation shit, but actually, English, we're shit, aren't we?
Yeah,
we can't even
it's one of the most difficult languages to learn, isn't it?
But we don't even speak proper English.
I don't know.
No, definitely not, mate. The amount of words we cut short, the amount of words that we make slang and alter and change, except, like cricket bat, for example. We must confuse the hell out of people banging that in the end of every show.
But koi doesn't even exist in Japan.
No.
So there's English for you, mate.
It's got in it.
Yeah.
You're just Gaz Pond Carp.
Gaz Goy Pond is what I am.
There you go. I take it we're not live anymore, are we?
Yeah.
Are we
yes, there. Hang about, Paul. We are still live. If he's using a translator, how does he know what you were saying?
Exactly. Have you ever asked
that's not true, man, because you can hear it, but you may not be able to write it. You can still speak to them and not write it, or you can still understand it but not speak it.
My Alexa, if you ask my Alexa a question, mate, she gives you some random answers.
Alexa, play some songs.
Here's a mix for you on Amazon Music.
Oh, it's not me.
It's me.
Good. Alexa, order Crafty some new haircut material.
The pond moss can be used to compete algae. The more plants you use, the better. My moss grows so much it reduces the algae a lot.
No, do not order that. Do you want me to go ahead with the transaction? No.
No.
What have you created?
Mine's
Rich, have you ever used moss to compete? Blanket answer. Blanket.
No. The thing is that I've used kind of, I've used types of algae, grass. I seed my ponds with grass in the filters before I get the cheese going.
But not moss, because moss likes to stay damp, not wet through.
Yeah, it tends to grow on the damp bits on the filters and whatever. But so
it's an extremely slow growing plant which doesn't consume a lot of nitrites at all because it's very slow growing.
What's that?
Moss. Moss is one of the slowest growing plants out there, other than lichen. So for it to be combating it by using up the elements in the water to grow, there are far better plants than moss to do that with. So it's not a good one at all. It's a very slow grower, which means it uses very little. You want fast growing plants which consume high amounts fast. So
It might be one that just wants to
not,
live in
it's
that
not
environment.
mocking him. It was educating.
But yeah, we use plants quite a lot and the difference will be like in our growing tunnel, when those plants kick off and go bonkers later in the summer, the water quality is just insane. Like different level. If I can grow like 50 chili plants,
Yeah, something that grows rapid.
Mental. Yeah. It is mad, but it's really difficult to balance it. At the minute, I can't even plant them because I've got the salt up because I keep adding fish. So it's like I've got to have the salt up because I'm pissing them off every day, adding fish every day. But yeah.
Right, ladies and gents, we are on the 3.5 hour mark, and to be completely honest, I think we've exhausted this evening, haven't we? So,
keep going.
Keep going. Right, well, I'll just go grab a drink then, because I'm thirsty.
I need a wee as well. Let's stop the live. We can talk about more important stuff.
Right. So then, guys, Nick said we're going to I'm going to go get a drink. We're going to continue afterward. If anybody would like to join us backstage,
well, I've done all day.
Hit me up in the comments and let me know.
Brief intermission.
Come and have a natter with us.
No, that's what I've done all day. Grey and black fry lat, taking out all the yellow ones.
For the end of this evening.
Keep practicing.
If you've been enjoying this kind of content, do us a huge favor. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. And until next time, guys, keep smiling and we'll catch you all in the next one. Good night.
Cricket bat.
Right, everyone.
Right. Yeah, I've missed people.